What is it that distinguishes a champion? Is it a desire to be the best? Is it to face an unconquerable force and to shock the world?
Oh!
Not once, but twice?
Unbelievable!
Or maybe to forsake convention by meeting the next challenge in her own country with a tantalizing proposition. If you want the title, try and take it.
Defending my belt in Brazil will mean a lot, to face my fears, to challenge myself.
Tonight, as the UFC returns to Rio de Janeiro, the women's strawweight title is on the line as Thug Rose fights on enemy soil in Brazil. She faces a 27-year-old vanquisher of souls, an explosive warrior in the prime of her career. Takes her shot at glory and knows it only takes one shot to become champion.
Jessica Andrade!
But not before the legend returns. The greatest middleweight in mixed martial arts history. A champion who came to define striking prowess and killer instinct welcomes a middleweight division powerhouse who's more than ready to stand and deliver.
Oh,
big right hand.
Cannonier! Brand's forced to cover up. Jared Cannonier has done it!
In a featherweight clash, Brazil's storied idol, a punishing blend of speed, power, and unrelenting pressure, looks to continue his resurgence against a new breed of firepower from Australia. Undefeated in the UFC, riding a 16-fight win streak, and ready to bring down the hammer.
Ripping to the body, he drops him. That's it.
Alexander the Great!
The stakes are high. The action is fierce. Will the legend stand tall, or will there be a changing of the guard? Will the champion once again rise to the occasion, or will Brazil celebrate a new era? Tonight, from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, it's UFC 237, Namajunas versus Andrade, and it starts right now.
Dateline, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. This right here is a UFC mecca of the highest order. Tonight, the MMA leader hits Rio for the 10th time overall. Later strawweight champion Rose Namajunas takes her game on the road, chasing further UFC greatness against a bona fide Brazilian wrecking machine. Live from a sold-out Jeunesse arena here in Rio de Janeiro, this is UFC 237, Namajunas versus Andrade. We also remind you closed captioning is available for tonight's telecast. What an atmosphere in this building here tonight. And with that, great to have you with us for UFC 237. I'm John Anik. So 2 years ago, in 3 New York minutes, Rose Namajunas changed the course of UFC strawweight history by dethroning the great Joanna Jędrzejczyk. 5 months later, she beat her again. Tonight, Thug Rose's quest takes her to the belly of the beast, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, where she will encounter a most worthy challenger, Jessica Andrade, intent on creating her own history here at home tonight. With that, thrilled to welcome in my broadcast partners, future Hall of Famers, Dominic Cruz, UFC heavyweight champion, Daniel Cormier. It's one thing to have a UFC title fight. It's another thing to have it here in Rio, DC. We're ready to go.
Yes, man, they talk about hostile environments all over the world and in all sports. Go to Green Bay and play football. I'd rather do that than bring my belt down to Rio de Janeiro to try and defend it. The fans are out of their minds here. They will yell at you as you approach the octagon. They welcome you in, but then they boo you out of the building the moment you step into the octagon.
It's such a tricky thing they give you. They're the most humble, loving, compassionate people ever. Until you step into this arena, and then they will tell you straight to your face, sorry, I really like you, but you're gonna die.
So Thug Rose Namajunas has had 13 months away from the game after the successive wins over Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Tonight, DC, she goes for a second defense against Jessica Andrade.
Yes, she does. The Thug has arrived in Rio, and she's got 12 pounds of gold that she wants to bring back to the United States. This is one of the most versatile athletes in the UFC. She can submit you. She can outstrike you. I mean, submitted Angie Hill, submitted Paige Van Zandt, submitted Michelle Waterson, knocked out Joanna Jędrzejczyk. And for as impressive as that was, I thought even more impressive was her outstriking her over 25 minutes in the rematch.
Probably one of the only things that could take Rose's onslaught is a tank. And if there was a tank anywhere in Brazil, it would be this woman right here, Jessica Andrade. She steps forward, no matter what you throw at her, she walks through it, she starts to the body, finishes 9-10 punch combinations to the head, not caring what you tag her with. And if she can't get the job done with her punches, she's gonna pick you up and slam you on your head, not once, not twice, but probably multiple times. And then after that, she's gonna punch you through the floor and probably try to guillotine you or rip one of your limbs off. This is a killer in her game.
No woman in UFC history has more wins than Jessica Andrade. These fighter odds brought to you by Poker Stars. Pound for pound, the greatest online poker experience in the world. Take on the best to win millions of prizes every day on PokerStars.net. You see, at least right now, Andrade holding as a slight betting favorite. Rose Namajunas at present, the even money underdog. We'll see how it plays out later tonight. That's the main event. Co-main event features the all-time great Anderson Silva at the ripe age of 44, taking on the killer gorilla Jared Cannonier.
44 years old and still going. However, we've got Jared Cannonier here who says, you know what? I'm a little younger, I'm a little stronger, and I'm gonna prove it tonight. This man has power in both of his hands, and he knows how to set it up. He doesn't just step in and throw it. He sets it up. He shifts his feet to southpaw in the middle of pocket combinations. And if he touches you, he goes for the kill, and he finishes you by ground and pounding you until you can't stand up anymore. Jared Cannonier has serious power, and he's got a serious chip on his shoulder.
Yes, he does, but he's fighting one of the greatest fighters the UFC has ever seen in Anderson Silva. It's the experience, the diversity in striking, and the eyes of Anderson Silva. I don't believe people understand how well he sees everything inside of the octagon. That's why the defense is so good. That's why the counter-striking is so good. He has a highlight reel a mile long and title defenses a mile long. It is always a privilege when you get to watch Anderson Silva compete.
And I'm glad you touched on the vision, DC, because that has been a big focus for John Crouch and the folks at the MMA Lab in getting Jared Cannonier ready tonight, trying to get a read on some of the offensive and defensive movements of the great Anderson Silva. All right, before we get going, happy to let you know, CAB MMA, the commission here has adopted the newer set of unified rules for this event. We will also have the use of instant replay tonight. That is only to look at a fight-ending sequence, so once replay is called for, that particular fight cannot be restarted. With that, we are ready to go with our main card, UFC 237, live from Rio. A fighting pioneer in Mexico, Irene Aldana wants to make more history in the coming years, but for now, there is a fight in front of her, and you can be sure Betch Correia will be charging hard. A former world title challenger who has fought the best of the best, Brazil's Betch Correia has proven, no matter the final outcome, she always leaves her opponents knowing that they've been in a fight. But winning is the priority and motivation for Campina Grande's Correia, and she hopes a strong outing against Irene Aldana will put her back in the championship mix. Mexico's Aldana is one of the most exciting fighters in the division, and she has the Fight of the Night awards from her battles with Leslie Smith and Lucia Pudilova to prove it. Tonight, she looks for a third straight win against Correia. Coming up next, Irene Aldana faces Betch Pitbull Correia. All right, so here's the proud Brazilian Betch Correia. A lot of emotions, Megan Olivier, as she makes this first walk since 2017, and she hopes that fight night goes better than weigh-in day, I guess.
Yeah, certainly. You know, I spoke with her yesterday after weigh-ins, and she did miss the mark by about 5 pounds. And when I asked her what happened, she said, you know, I woke up about as heavy as I normally wake up, and I just started not feeling good, so I had to stop cutting. She was grateful that her opponent obviously still accepted the fight. Here they are kicking off the pay-per-view. I did ask her, though, hey, listen, you've been out for about 2 years, you missed weight, you're fighting in your home country, there's got to be some added pressure. She said for her, she's just going out there to have fun, she's missed the sport, she believes she's going to make a statement here tonight, and we'll see if that weight cut had any factor in this.
DC, she represents the American Kickboxing Academy in some capacity, hasn't necessarily been there in a while. Your thoughts on Correia in this spot tonight?
Yeah, when she would come and train, she was always at practice, very hard working, very willing and open to learning. Built a great foundation in San Jose, but as with most people, coming out to the Bay Area isn't cheap, and it makes it very difficult. Betch has had a little bit of a tough time lately, but she feels as if tonight, if she gets a big win, she'll be right back on her way to where she was when she fought for the UFC title.
Yeah, Betchko-Hea, I mean, she had 3 eye surgeries that she thought she might be out of the sport, but she's been able to get herself together, and here she is. And, you know, let me tell you, after injuries, and especially something to your eye, I can't really imagine what that's like. So she's got a lot of mental toughness to be back in here. And I'm pretty, you know, the walkout song that she came out to here has me pretty hype right now. I can't lie.
She's got a lot of high-level experience, championship experience, main event experience in the UFC. She's got a big one in front of her tonight. Here is the 11th ranked UFC bantamweight contender, Irene Aldana, making the walk for her 5th UFC appearance. She fought Larissa Pacheco in Belém for the vacant Jungle Fight bantamweight title in what was her 4th pro fight back in the day. And tonight, 10 fights later, she returns to Brazil as a -425 favorite here against Betchko-Hea.
Yeah, you want to talk about somebody who's tough. That's why this matchup is happening. I mean, these are 2 females who just want to stare each other in the center of the octagon and start trading. I guarantee that's how it's going to go. Betchko-Hea does not take a lot of steps back. And if we're talking about Aldana, she's so good at just taking punishment and hitting you harder. She's good at staying long, staying on the outside, good 1-2 down the middle, nice crisp punches that are straight. And these are the things that you're going to have to watch out for Aldana, because she is somebody to worry about.
Yeah, Aldana is a fantastic boxer, and she's very good at maintaining distance and fighting at range when she's a very, very tall fighter. You saw it in the fight against Bernardo, who we saw earlier. She had her hurt, never rushed the finish, took her time, won a decision, but fought as well as she ever has, and she's going to have to do that tonight against Betchko-Hea. Betchko-Hea is a very strong fighter, but she will have a problem entering into range against Aldana, who I said before is a phenomenal striker.
Back-to-back wins for Irene Aldana. Lucia Pudilova, her last time out. That was a fight of the night. She was 12th in the world going in, has bumped up a spot to number 11. We talk about Cohea's championship experience. Aldana fought for the Invicta title back in 2015. Went into a 4th round with Tanya Evinger. Actually would have gotten a rematch, but she got the call from the UFC. The rest, as they say, is history, but this is a finisher of the highest order. You see the finishing rate. She finished all 7 of her pro wins before signing with the UFC, all of them in round 1. Jessamine Duke, Faith Van Duyn among her previous wins. These fighter odds brought to you by Poker Stars, pound for pound, the greatest online poker experience in the world. Take on the best to win millions of prizes every day on PokerStars.net. As we mentioned, Irene Aldana, prohibited favorite here tonight. Betchko-Hea, a bloated plus 325 underdog as she returns to the proving ground tonight. All right, let's get to the tail of the tape for our pay-per-view opener here in the UFC Women's Bantamweight division between Betchko-Hea and Irene Aldana. The Mexican Aldana, 31. The Brazilian Cohea is 35. Aldana 4 inches taller. You see the big weight miss by Cohea, who is on the wrong end of the reach equation. 4.5-inch edge for Aldana. All right, to get this pay-per-view party started, we go inside the octagon where we find Bruce Buffer.
Senhoras e senhores do Brasil, bem-vindos! Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the Jeunesse Arena in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, for UFC 237, Namajunas versus Andrade. And now, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC Bantamweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a kickboxer holding a professional record, 10 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw. She stands 5 feet 5 inches tall, weighing in at 141 pounds. Fighting out of Campina Grande, Paraíba, Brazil, Betch Pitbull Cohea! And now introducing her opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a striker holding a professional record, 9 wins, 4 losses. She stands 5 feet 9 inches tall, weighing in at 135 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, Irene Aldana! And with the action begins. Our referee in charge, Eduardo Hurdy.
Eduardo Hurdy, our referee. Amazing to look at Irene Aldana as you see Luciana Andrade getting us started. Just to see the physicality and the confidence just looks so different than she did a few years ago when she made her UFC debut in December of 2016.
I mean, right away, John, you noticed it when she was walking how big she made weight yesterday, and the way she fills out, right? She gets big, really strong looking, mean looking, and aggressive, confident. It's a big difference.
And by the way, Betch Correia forfeits 30% of her fight purse due to that weight miss here a day ago in Rio.
And Betch is going to have to get close. Betch was never the fastest striker. She would really try to overwhelm her opponents, and she's definitely going to have to do that tonight against Aldana.
Nemiroff, bold character since 1872. Aldana's fight IQ has improved leaps and bounds. Enters the octagon tonight with a lot of momentum, working off that educated jab.
And that's going to be the thing that she has to use. She has to fight behind that long jab. She's much taller, really big reach advantage. Has to keep Betch Correia at the end of her punches.
Aldana got a late start in mixed martial arts at 23 years old. No amateur MMA experience. And as many of you know, Betch Correia fought Ronda Rousey for the title at UFC 190 back in August of 2015. She was also undefeated when she made her UFC debut.
And when Betch was on her roll, she was able to get in people's face, make the fights ugly, really do a lot of good body work, and it would wear down her opponents. She was getting finishes late and winning decisions. It was, she had a very ideal game plan that she was doing a really good job of following. And right now she's having a difficult time trying to implement that against Aldana.
Nice head movement there by Aldana.
Right now, just the basic 1-2 of Aldana is really doing the trick. That and just moving her feet. Betch can't get close to her.
Right. Aldana very committed to the footwork. Nice stick there by the right hand. Counter from Correia.
Nice 2-5 by Aldana. She mixes up the 1-2 down the middle very well, like lasers. And then the second she throws that 2, she comes with the 5 up the middle in case you try to duck or slip the 2. I mean, it's a good punch combination to mix up and keep Betch guessing.
Two minutes, less than now to go here in round one. Irene Aldana representing Team Lobo in Mexico. Her head coach, the father of Alexa Grasso, Francisco Grasso.
Yes, and you see in that Alexa Grasso and Irene Aldana, they both have very, very good, crisp striking techniques. Very educated, fights behind the jab, really good boxing approach to mixed martial arts.
This is another situation, Rose versus Jessica Andrade, where you're seeing the stature difference. The shorter, more powerful, perceivably, in Betch versus the taller, longer fighter in Aldana. I mean, this is how these fights have to go when you're looking at the different height ranges. And right now, Betch Correia needs to figure out a way past the 1-2 of Aldana in order to get in the pocket.
This is what she has to do, right?
There it is.
This is what Betch has to do. She has to kind of get a little dirty here.
Yep.
She's got to find a way to get inside.
I mean, being a short guy, DC, you have to deal with the stature problem. What do you do?
Sometimes you got to get hit a little bit, man. You got to be willing to go through the fire to get to where you need to be. But it also helps to have some quick twitch actions. You know, you can't be slow. You got to be able to move your head and close the distance pretty quick. And also wrestling, having the ability to take people down allows me to do a lot of things that most people can't do.
All right, so what's Betch got to do then, DC?
She's got to just make it dirty like this. She's got to be going forward, pressing, and getting in her face.
Oh, and that's the problem, is you see Aldana mix in different punches. The second Betch starts to slip past the 1-2, she starts firing uppercuts up the middle. So it takes away the head movement of Betch, keeps her into a box, and then she's stuck eating 1-2s all night.
But that's what she's doing, right? If she stays on the outside, she's getting beat with the 1-2. She goes in to take the damage. If she gets through it, then she can try to land like that, the left hook.
The left hook's there, but so is the uppercut for Aldana, and that's
a couple big right hands from Aldana.
Aldana's tagging her, man.
Fast hands for Irene. 5 minutes in the can.
Sit down.
Betch. Tá entrando isolado, tem que fazer.
Your shots are isolated. You have to feint. She's checking it.
Olha só, é cabeça e no corpo, tem que combinar.
Head and body. You gotta throw combos to kick. You're not kicking at all. You gotta feint the jab and circle her.
Respira fundo, fundo.
Breathe deep.
Tem mais água? Ya viste que trata de agarrar, ya viste que trata de ir por el body lock. Eso es su plan de pelea. Por lo visto es eso, tirar dos triangulados y después ir por el body lock, ¿ok? O tratar de remate. Está haciendo increíble. Seguimos igual hasta que...
You do the same thing. Okay, you're fainting, you're doing well. You want water?
Camila Oliveira telling us it is round 2 of a possible 3. Betch Correia has the better strength of schedule, but among the more interesting numbers, at least in terms of a discrepancy, finishing rate, 78% for Irene Aldana, just 20% for Betch Correia, 2 finishes in her 10 career wins. All right, round 2 now. Aldana in the all black, Betch Correia in the black with yellow.
And there you go. When you're a shorter fighter, you start kicking first and then follow your kicks with your hands, and it makes you just a little longer. Now, instead of that jab and that jab cross of Aldana being useful, that'll take that away if you're Betch Correia. But she's not going back to the kicks at all. She just get, now there it is. That's
you
what she's
heard her
got
coach
to do.
Adelson Silva telling her that. You got to go for it. You got to get some kicks on you. You got to push the fight, or you're going to just be at range getting picked apart. The one thing I wish Aldana would do is maybe throw that right hand a little bit straighter. It looks like it's shoveling up every time when she follows it with the 1-2. Watch how she's throwing the 1-2. The right hand isn't just straight up the pipe. It's kind of going in an up action. All of her punches are wrapping up towards Betch.
Ooh.
That one she turned over.
And Correia has started to land. She's pulled ahead unofficially, at least in terms of the significant strikes landed. Aldana seems to respect the power coming back her way.
She's touching her, but Betch is landing the ones that kind of are harder.
Look at that. Force Aldana to cover up. So perhaps a little momentum early round 2 here for Betch Correia. And now Aldana Dom mixing it up a little bit, going low with the kicks.
Yeah, what I also like about Aldana is the way that she's throwing that 1-2 is it stays laser straight, and then all of a sudden she does switch it. She turns her knuckles towards the ground and she shovels it upwards like an uppercut, and it looks like a straight coming, but when Betch goes to slip, it scoops her head up like an uppercut. And it's just a little switch up to keep Betch from being able to slip off the 1-2s.
Betch is doing a better job now because she's throwing kicks. She's throwing, oh, nice overhand right by Correia.
Nice right cross there from Aldana.
Big right hand. Betch throws that right hand very sharp. There it is. That's her best punch, and now she's starting to get the range. It's almost like the more Aldana hits her, she finds her range by getting hit. She puts her forehead down and lets Aldana hit her in the top of the head, and there it is.
But again, willing to go through the fire to try to get her hands on her, and she's being more successful there because Aldana's doing a really weird thing. She's jabbing and pulling back out with her chin up in the air.
A lot of movement and motion from Irene Aldana, but a little bit inefficient on the feet unofficially. 28 of 128 in terms of the total strikes. She's already missed 100 times.
Well, the issue for Aldana is she's not really changing the look at all. It's literally been 1-2s and jab uppercut the whole time. So now Betch has been able to make some corrections to her style, tag the leg a little bit, make some adjustments, go to the body, fire the overhand right and pressure. And that's taken away some of the same weapons that Aldana's using, because Betch has made adjustments and Aldana's using the exact same game plan as round one.
And nothing to this point has been so devastating that it's caused Betch Kohea to think twice about pursuing her. She needs to sit down on something. It's not just point fighting.
Right.
She's got to really sit down and make her respect her power.
Good point, champ. Maybe that right hand will help. Under 90 to go here, round two.
Part of the reason Aldana's losing is she's stepping. Every time she throws, she's moving her feet. You can see she's never set. She's always moving forward or back as she's punching, and it's just taking some of the sting off.
Betch is fighting a much better round in the second round. Oh, she hit her with the right hand.
Kohea gains the clinch. Minute to go in round two. We'll see if she tries to take Aldana down.
Oh, Betch is driving that left knee inside. Oh, you look at the difference in the physicality.
That's what happens if you're a little bit heavier. There's a reason we have weight classes. I mean, a little bit of weight does make a difference.
I knew that was coming.
Facts.
Dom's like, yeah, it just makes sense that she would be stronger. She missed weight by 6 pounds.
Kohea drops down, comes up, lands the right hand. Pretty big second round thus far for the plus 325 dog, Betch Pitbull Kohea. Not a bad entry, but Kohea unable to take Aldana down.
Oh my goodness, that's what Aldana needs. Combinations in the pocket just like that.
She sat down on those.
Big exchange here. Betch driving forward, lands the right hand, and Aldana also, boom, left uppercut. It's kind of like a 5 and a big leg kick by Betch. That hurts. Here's another exchange, both of them trading, just trying to get it in the pocket, and here's the end of the round right here. 2-5, 2, 2-5. I mean, beautiful. Good combos. That's the combination that Aldana needs to keep firing in the pocket. 5-6 punches at a time.
She's doing well in the clinch. You got to be careful of her knees. Throw it down on her body and then the head. You got to feint, hook, cross, throw the leg. Please, listen to me. When she's right here, throw the hook. Last round, it's all you. You're winning. Keep your hands up, please. She's checking your head.
The great Jenny Andrade getting us started here for this third and final round between two of the top 13 in the UFC Women's Bantamweight division. Irene Aldana, her corner urgent after round two. And Betch Kohea.
Oh, big head kick by Aldana.
That's another thing that would benefit Aldana a lot, is if she kicked more. She starts to mix up those kicks after all the strikes in the head, the punches that she's landed. It would really benefit her against Betch.
I think another thing that I'd like to see Aldana do is start going to the body more. Maybe twos and then start ripping that liver shot, because Kohea doesn't care about getting punched in the head, clearly. Start going to the body.
That one hurt her a little bit. She didn't like that one. That right hand did not. She did not like that one.
Oh, they sting. They sting.
Oh, another one. She's landed clean on Betch now.
Nice counter by Kohea, but Aldana coming out strong here a minute into round three. Ooh, left hand lands flush for Kohea. Some very good striking exchanges in the fight. Counter right is there for Kohea yet again. 3.5 minutes now to go. Some interesting numbers, all of them unofficial, but In terms of the significant strikes landed, 72 to 50 thus far for Betch Correia. DC is not our punch counter tonight.
It's every time, though. Like, I got in trouble for this before, so I'm trying not to say anything about the punch count, but it's a weird deal how they register. I mean, all these punches that they're both landing very well, and they're both being efficient, but I don't understand how these aren't significant. Not enough power, like what? And Betchy's doing a good job, though. Betchy's doing a good job. I don't disagree. Oh!
Significant strike, anything landed at distance. It does not include jabs, so Aldana not getting credit for those.
Okay.
Nice 1-2 from Correia, partially blocked by Aldana.
Correia's fighting good now. She's making it ugly. It's a dirty, ugly fight, and she's landing and winning.
Big right hand by Aldana there. Betch did a great job in the second and now this third round, just adjusting to taking the heat, taking the punches, and being able to get in there to be able to land her own significant strikes. And she's taking some damage on her way in, like you said, DC, but she's landing more significant because of it.
Yes, and she's landing with the big power shots. She's landing the shots that make you go, oh, big shot, but she's having to take them too. Nice combination by Aldana. Good defense by Aldana. Oh, she gave her back. Aldana's gonna fall over the top though here. She's gonna fall over the top.
Aldana trying to go belly down, and there's the tap.
She got it.
Irene Aldana by submission.
She must have hit her with something clean on the way in, because she was busted up bad at that point.
So that will silence the masses here in Rio. Irene Aldana taking the judges out of the equation. The belly down armbar to submit Betch Correia. This fight replay brought to you by Nemiroff, bold character since 1872.
I mean, right here, look, Betch shoots this shot. She must have hit her head on the knee, but Aldana with great takedown defense, just shoving the head away. I thought she was gonna fall over the top here. Right here, it looks like she's losing position, but instead she's attacking the arm. Great transition by Irene Aldana right away, knowing I'm falling over, let me attack this time. But look, also had the triangle there. Belly down armbar, all of her weight on top of Correia. Correia had no choice but to tap. I mean, what a fantastic fight by both of these women. Great job by Irene Aldana to go and take the judges out of what would be a very, very difficult decision.
Looked like maybe there was a tap before she went belly down, but it will go into the books as a big submission win for Irene Aldana, third consecutive triumph inside the octagon. The official decision brought to you by Metro by T-Mobile. Catch all the action with Metro by T-Mobile. Get knockout coverage on a network that rivals the big guys for way less. Here with that official decision, Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Eduardo Hurdy has called a stop to this contest at 3 minutes, 24 seconds of round number 3. Declaring the winner by submission due to an armbar, Irene Aldana.
All right, I am here with your winner, Irene Aldana. Congratulations. What an outstanding fight. 3 consecutive wins. Overall thoughts on this performance here tonight against Betch Correia?
Foi uma luta excelente. Está com 3 vitórias seguidas. O que você achou da luta?
Wow. I was really nervous to be in Brazil because I know the crowd will be against me, but people have been very nice to me, very supportive, very warm. Thank you very much. Obrigado, Brasil. Happy Mother's Day in Mexico. Feliz Día de las Madres de mi mamá. And thanks to my coach, Pancho, Yuri, Hugo, por estar aquí. Gracias a mi equipo Lobo Gym. Y estoy feliz de tener. I'm happy to win my 3rd victory in a row.
Eu estava muito nervosa para vir para o Brasil, eu sabia que o público ia estar do lado dela, mas o povo foi muito legal comigo essa semana, então obrigado, Brasil. E foi uma luta dura, e é isso.
I know you competed in Belém, Brazil, in your 4th pro fight. Now that this fight is in the books, how did it feel coming back here? Because you look pretty good.
Você lutou em Belém e agora voltou aqui. Como é que é voltar para o Brasil para lutar?
Yes, it was a really challenge for me to fight in Brazil because my last experience in Brazil was hard. It was really, really hard. But I learned, and I accomplish that I defeat the fear, and I'm ready to move on.
Foi desafio para mim, porque minha última experiência no Brasil foi muito, muito dura, mas eu venci, então é isso que importa.
Your boxing, your footwork was sharp as usual. We're going to take a look at the finish. You went to the armbar, ultimately belly down there at the end and got the submission.
O seu boxe estava muito bom, a movimentação dos pés, e no final vamos ver o replay, você foi naquela chave de braço.
Yeah, I'm well known for my boxing and my striking, and I'm glad that I show a little of my jiu-jitsu here. I would love to show a little more of my striking. Like I said, I was nervous, and I need to lose a little more. I hope to make it in my next fights, but I'm glad that I get the victory by armbar.
Eu sou conhecida pelo meu boxe, pela minha trocação, então foi bom mostrar o meu jiu-jitsu, mas eu quero mostrar mais da minha trocação. Eu estava um pouco nervosa, mas eu quero mostrar mais para vocês.
Congratulations, likely puts you in position to challenge someone in the top 10. Your winner, how about it? Irene Aldana.
Here's one more look at the shot of Betchko to the finish. And we see here a telegraph shot is what we call that, is from too far out and it wasn't set up, and that allows for Aldana to be able to get to this position. It's like a half mountain, and she switches it to like a modified armbar. There's a reverse triangle here, but Betch gives the armbar to defend the reverse triangle, which finishes with an armbar here, as you see. Very nice transition by Aldana to go belly down. Beautiful. Getting the job done, especially when it was getting grimy.
These fighter stats brought to you by Poker Stars. Pound for pound, the greatest online poker experience in the world. Take on the best to win millions of prizes every day on PokerStars.net. So some good company for Irene Aldana in terms of the longest active win streaks in this UFC bantamweight division. Ketlin Vieira, Amanda Nunes, the only two above her, and Aldana's getting a big one next for sure. All right, coming up next, former welterweight title challenger Thiago Alves. He's been on the roster since Ultimate Fight Night in 2005, and he believes he's got 4 or 5 good fights left in him. His last one was a win. He'll go for 2 in a row here tonight as he takes on the Brazilian-based but Argentina-bred Muay Thai striker Laureano Starpoli. He entertained and won in his UFC debut last year. He's got a whole lot of tools at his disposal, and he believes all the pressure is in the red corner with Thiago Alves here tonight. UFC 237, Namajunas versus Andrade, is brought to you by Metro by T-Mobile. Catch all the action with Metro by T-Mobile. Get knockout coverage on a network that rivals the big guys for way less.
Whoa! He got it bad!
Henry Cejudo knocks TJ Dillashaw out in round 1, and still the flyweight king.
I did this for the flyweights. Now give me the best at 135 pounds. I want that belt too.
He is an absolute monster. Oh! Head kick for Moraes.
Moraes knockout victory.
Wow.
Oh, and there's the champ, Marlon Moraes.
I'm ready. I want the title.
It does not get a whole lot better than this. The Messenger.
I beat Demetrius Johnson and TJ. I'm one of the greatest of all time.
Marlon Moraes.
Look at his last 3 fights, 3 first-round victories. Moraes is something else.
The stakes get bigger.
She is a killer. The best of the best in women's MMA now. That's a bad woman.
This young lady has star power to go with a lot of skill.
Dana, I want my title shot.
Oh, that's it. Donald Cowboy Cerrone. You gotta be kidding me. Tony Ferguson.
Oh, this is a fan dream fight.
2 high-profile championship bouts. Well, one of America's best cities is getting one of the year's best fight cards, and we can now confirm an addition that just sends UFC 238 over the top. The former UFC interim lightweight king, Tony Ferguson, will put his 11-fight winning streak on the line against the legend Donald Cowboy Cerrone. He just won again last weekend. That fight, of course, getting added to the championship doubleheader, our next pay-per-view, UFC 238, Cejudo versus Moraes on June 8th. How about it, Dominic Cruz?
Well, what I love about this is I've been with Donald Cerrone since the WC, and I've watched him mutate into a different style of fighter. I mean, up, down, and he's still here, still tough as ever, vying for the title now. But he used to get taken down and held down. That's not happening anymore. His takedown defense has gotten much better. and now he's submitting people from the top position because he's able to stuff the takedowns. He's not always on his back, but if you put him there, he is dangerous. And Tony Ferguson, as we know, is very dangerous everywhere. He's like non-stop fluid movement, kind of like Clay Guida, but with crazier elbows, knees, and just pure havoc in its purest form.
I mean, this is going to be a phenomenal card. Unbelievable that they added Ferguson versus Cowboy. Tony Ferguson is a madman. From his walkout where he's dancing to disco. And Cowboy Cerrone, I mean, for all that he's done, the way that he beat out Iaquinta last weekend was maybe his most impressive victory. So when you win and you look that good, what do you get? A matchup with an even tougher opponent. Tony Ferguson is a savage, and he's back where he belongs, fighting in the UFC. It's a phenomenal card. I mean, it was a good card to start, but now we're talking about one of the better cards that we've had in a really long time. Adding this fight, every fight on this card, the main card, has people within the top 12 of their weight division.
Might get you to Chicago during your training camp.
I wasn't going to Chicago. But hey,
now you're going.
Book my fight, I'm in.
All right, let's get to what is the co-headliner. Valentina Shevchenko, of course, the incumbent, the women's UFC flyweight champion. She takes on Jessica Eye. 3 consecutive wins for Eye have resulted in her first UFC title shot.
Yeah, Eye's got good hands. She's got good boxing, good takedown defense, but more than anything, she's just extremely tough and willing to take one and hit you harder. She's gotten much sharper since her beginning in this sport. She's got great takedowns. She drives through on her double legs. All these little things are great problems for Valentina Shevchenko to be able to deal with. I mean, she's got to adjust. She a lot of times can get taken down. So with the kickboxing, can she keep it on the feet?
For a very long time, Jessica Eye was the #1 flyweight in the world. So this is where she belongs, I guess.
And would you look at these UFC 238 prelims, several of these fights easily could have landed on pay-per-view. The featured prelim, a women's strawweight title eliminator, Tatiana Suarez and Nina Ansaroff. You've got the same thing going on in the bantamweight division. Aljamain Sterling and Pedro Munoz, perhaps the winner there, would be in line to face the winner of Cejudo versus Moraes. Karolina Kowalkiewicz back against Alexa Grasso. And Chicago versus Boston, bottom of your screen, as Ricardo Lamas takes on Calvin Kattar. It's all going down June 8th, those prelims live on ESPN. All right, these fighter odds brought to you by Poker Stars. Pound for pound, the greatest online poker experience in the world. Take on the best to win millions of prizes every day on PokerStars.net. About as close as it gets. Thiago Alves, slightest of betting favorites at -115. Star Poli coming back at -105. Well, he got his hand raised last time to Brazil earlier this year. Thiago Alves jumped at the chance to come back and compete at home again. He'll try to halt the rapid rise of Laureano Staropoli.
Since 2001, Thiago Alves has been one of Brazil's best exports to the mixed martial arts world. And after a February decision win over Max Griffin, Alves is making it known that although a new generation is on its way to the top, there is still plenty of fight left in this pit bull.
I'm super hungry, I'm super motivated, I'm still learning, I'm still getting better every day, and the pitbull is never out of fight, so let's go.
Thiago Alves es cara muito perigoso, com muita experiência, mas não tem a fome de glória que eu tenho. Eu vou sair a ganhar essa luta.
To make it to the UFC is a tough task for any fighter, but to stay there for more than 13 years like Thiago Alves has is nearly impossible. But Alves is still going strong at 35. And if anything, he is hungrier than ever to give the fans a fight to remember every time he's in the octagon.
I'm looking to put on a show tonight. I'm looking to put an exclamation point. I'm prepared. I'm ready for a knockout. I'm ready for a submission. I'll be victorious no matter what.
Laureano Staropoli couldn't have had a better UFC debut in November, as he picked up Fight of the Night honors in a win over Hector Aldana in his home country of Argentina. Now Staropoli is in Brazil and eager to get into another scrap with a veteran as talented and respected as Thiago Pitbull Alves.
Já fiz a melhor luta da noite, é minha primeira luta, meu debut, e eu acho que nesta segunda luta vai ser melhor que a primeira e vou conseguir nocaute.
Born and raised in Argentina, now fighting out of Sao Paulo, Brazil, and representing Diego Lima Shootbox. Here is Laureano Staropoli making his second UFC appearance. And what an entertaining first UFC start for him, DC, against Hector Aldana. He was throwing bombs early, opened up a nasty cut on Aldana early on, and
left $50,000 richer with his first UFC bonus as well.
And for as good as the money was, he said the thing he took most from that fight is the experience of going 15 minutes. He said he learned so much about himself that it's given him tremendous confidence as he goes into this fight with Thiago Alves. You know, for everything that the UFC comes with, especially for a guy that watched it as a kid, it was a dream come true for him. To be able to go out there and have that type of performance, you only can expect him to be better in his second time inside of the octagon.
So one of the things that Star Poli said he needed to do was make sure to be patient and look for the counterpunch of Alves. Alves comes forward nonstop, throws heavy punches. He's got a good left hook and an even better right low kick. So with all this coming into effect, I see Star Poli moving back being an issue. But in his defense, he says that's how I need to fight. I need to be able to move in and out. I need to be able to counter movement backward. Those are one of my gifts. But one of the things he said too is I switched stance. And the reason I switched stance is I'm actually much more powerful in a southpaw stance because I broke my right hand a while back. And I was like, I wonder why he's switching, because you can see he switches at different times. All he's looking for is that knockout shot. When you see him switching stance, he's just looking to sit down. His left hand is his most powerful punch, he says, and that just really interests me about this man's style.
Star Poli had a lot to say about movement. Feels like he can systematically break Thiago Alves down tonight with pressure. Wants to hurt him step by step. See how it goes here in a moment. Well, they don't come a whole lot more popular in these parts than Thiago Pitbull Alves, representing American Top Team, 42nd pro fight. And Megan, when we sat down with him on Thursday, he said the hardest part of getting older in this sport is just the knowledge that he can't do this forever. That said, he feels like he's got at least 4 or 5 good fights left in him.
Yeah, absolutely. When we spoke, I asked him, hey, what are your expectations for yourself as you make your 26th walk to the UFC octagon? And he said, I need to have a victory in a big way, and the way I do that is just be myself. I asked him what his expect for the outcome was, and he said, I think I'm going to get a first-round knockout if I can be free and be myself. He said fighting here in Brazil is really important to him, especially fighting in Rio. It's his first time competing here. He was born in Fortaleza, but he's very glad to have this opportunity, and he's not taking it lightly. It means a lot to him.
Don, this guy has been there and done that. Fought Gleison Tibau at his pro debut in Fortaleza back in 2001. Defeated Marcus Davis in Revere, Massachusetts in 2003. But he feels like, DC, this is the best version of himself, right? I mean, even though maybe the recent results haven't been 6, 7 consecutive wins, he feels like this version destroys the guy who fought GSP for the title.
Yeah, most guys do as they get older. He said in Star Poli he thought that he needs to be truly focused on the opponent. At times he can look past people. He will never do that again. He said he's taking a lot from the new champ down at ATT, Dustin Poirier.
Who he has cornered 4 times and cornered to the UFC Interim Lightweight Championship last month in Atlanta. All right, here's your tail of the tape. For the welterweights, Thiago Alves, 35. Laureano Star Poli is 26. He is the taller man by 4 inches, if my math is right. And Star Poli will have a 1.5-inch reach advantage. All right, now for the particulars back inside where we find Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record. 8 wins, 1 loss. He stands 6 feet 1 inch tall, weighing in at 170.5 pounds. Fighting out of La Plata, Argentina, Laureano Pepe Staropoli. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record. 28 wins, 13 losses. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall, weighing in at 170.5 pounds. Fighting out of Coconut Creek, Florida, USA, by way of Fortaleza, Brazil, Thiago Pitbull Alves. And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Osiris Maya.
Osiris Maya, busy man tonight. Camila Oliveira, busy woman, getting us started here for round 1 of a possible 3 here in the UFC's welterweight division, where Thiago Alves has been a staple for nearly 15 years. Thiago Alves is in yellow. Laureano Star Poli is in blue.
Watch the timing on Thiago's right low kick. I mean, that's something I always remember watching him. He created a lot of pathways in this sport. He's been here a very long time.
Nemiroff, bold character since 1872.
It'll be a little bit more difficult for Thiago to start blasting leg kicks because Starpoli changes stances so frequently. He's never just in one position for too long. And he changes it mid-action. There you go, you see that? Now he's already, now look, he's southpaw, back to conventional. He's just constantly switching his stance. So it's harder to get a beat on him.
Starpoli goes high with the kick and follows up with another one. Landing to the arms of Thiago Alves.
Even as he evades, he's switching. So when you go to throw your counter, he's in a completely different fight stance. And he's confusing Thiago a little bit. Thiago hasn't really thrown anything because he don't know exactly where and what to throw at.
Right now, Thiago's just taking registration of everything that's going on. He's trying to make reads, he's being patient. And right now he gets clipped with the right hand looking for his favorite strike. Double jab, right low kick. Starpoli's so long, so fluent. I mean, look how he's, just like you're saying, DC, switching stance, throwing question mark kicks, throwing up elbows and uppercuts, all different, moving his head in different spots. It makes it hard to read and see what you're going to throw next because Alves wants him to just stay in one so he can make the read. But every time he switches stance, it's a different read.
Looks like a cut on the hairline of Thiago Alves here early on.
When Starpoli was actually able to get him against the side of the octagon, he threw some elbows, up elbow, down elbow. He gave him a whole bunch of different techniques. So you know he's so varied in his attack. Alves has to worry about so many things.
And perhaps Thiago just sort of feeling things out here 3 minutes in, hasn't really thrown much in terms of his own offense.
He has to be patient, Anik. He has to. This man's throwing too many different techniques, all different sizes, all different looks. So Thiago has to be patient here, and he's got to make these reads in this first round and see what he's doing and come up with a game plan, I think, in the second because of all the different tools Starpoli's using. And now he's countering with kicks. These are things he's got to do.
I don't disagree with you very often, Don, but our fights are too short. You know, we don't have 12 rounds like a boxing match. You don't have a round to give away because now you're working with 2 rounds to win a fight. You always got to assume it's going to the judges. You can't give one away by not putting out any activity. Make your reads, but you also got to be giving the guy something to think about himself, and that's something Thiago hasn't done to this point. I mean, Starpoli's winning this fight, or this round, based on just activity right now, octagon control and activity.
Thiago Alves fought George St. Pierre for the welterweight title back in July of 2009 at UFC 100. It was a 7-fight winning streak that set up that title shot for Alves. Laureano certainly leading the dance here 4 minutes in.
What I see from Alves is strategy and patience in the fundamentals versus the crazy techniques and the low. It's technically they're not high profile moves. I mean, there's stuff that's flashy, they're awesome.
Yes.
But they're not fundamentals, and we're seeing fundamentals out of Alves. Now that's what's keeping Alves not being able to throw. He's staying, it's too easy to read. Starpoli is harder to read, but there's a lot more openings if he's not careful. Alves is looking for that opening.
Alves starting to go to work with his patented low leg kicks. Flying knee attempt from Starpoli.
I see exactly what you're saying, no doubt. It's like big actions, very low success rate on a lot of them.
Correct. And you're not, I mean, definitely not wrong, DC. He is behind on the numbers, but how are you going to fight this Starpoli unless you do this? You got to be patient with him. He's so good. There it is. That's what he's looking for. One big shot and just beat the guy who thinks he's flashier than him.
Sit down, breathe.
Respiração total. 5, 4, 3. Só preciso da sua respiração.
I just need you to breathe. Let him loosen up, but you have to hit him. You have to keep attacking him. That's the game plan. He's going to loosen up again. Breathe again. When you're going around him is when you have to get him. It's the only time you're going to find the distance. So you keep walking to your right, throw your punches, feint to make him make a mistake. And you have to keep the distance to be able to throw the front kick.
Watch live tomorrow is Submission Underground 8, presented by Chael Sonnen, lands on UFC Fight Pass. Austin Vanderford of Dana White's Contender Series and former UFC welterweight Jake Shields will face off in the main event. Plus, Jake Ellenberger and Diego Sanchez collide, this time in a highly anticipated grappling match. It is Submission Underground 8. It is yours live tomorrow on UFC Fight Pass. Round 2 here, Thiago Alves and Laureano Starpoli.
The word I was looking for is high percentage moves is what Alves is throwing versus low percentage moves of Starpoli. And Starpoli is extremely fun to watch, and it's a lot.
But look now, Dom, look at the difference, even in the posture of Alves now. It's a more aggressive posture.
He had to make the reads in the first round.
More aggressive, and that's going to equal to more success, I think.
Now that he's got the reads, he doesn't have to be so worried. He's seen everything now. He threw everything he had in that first round. Now Starpoli's using the same moves again. It's not new anymore. And 11 of 60, that's 18% of Starpoli's strikes that he landed. He's only up 2 strikes.
And now Thiago's the one pressuring. Before he was a little bit on his back foot the first round, now he's the one going forward. With, as you said, that great technical head movement, hands high. Good technique.
It's a lot less energy being used by Alves, you see, and it just adds up over time to be able to get ahead as the fight moves longer. We'll see if Starpoli can keep that athleticism going every round the way he did in that first. That was a lot of energy he uses using all these techniques.
He does a lot. It's like almost like a pattern, though. He throws that right, that left jab, switches stance, throws a left high kick. He does it a lot of times. Throw jab, take that change stance, step, he throws his left high kick.
What makes Starpoli so effective to me is, one, the stance switch, but more than anything, it's the fakes. He feints, I see all the feints, and he's getting Alves to throw when Starpoli wants Alves to throw instead of throwing when he wants. Like that.
Alves down for a brief moment. Now he posts, and Starpoli drags him back down to the canvas.
This is one of Alves' best attributes. He's up against the fence. He does really well with defending, but Starpoli doing the perfect thing, hooking that leg. Alves getting underhooks, and he's looking to stand up using the fence. Starpoli on the single leg, head on the inside. He's going to look to dump it and transition, but he misses it. Let's go Alves with the spin elbow.
Yeah, didn't seem to miss on that spinning elbow attempt, and Starpoli has certainly taken his game to the next level. Hate to generalize, but he certainly made good use of the 5 months. He faced some adversity in that UFC debut against Hector Aldana. Very confident coming in here tonight.
Now we're seeing Alves walk him down because he said, all right, young buck, all those cool moves, now you got no energy left. Now I'm going to start pressing you like I used to. These next 2 rounds are mine.
Do you see it that way, that he's sapped?
No, that's what Alves had to do because he's a little older, so you got to wait for the young guy to use all his energy early.
Right.
I mean, he's only got 9 fights. So you got to let this guy get tired and be dynamic and wear himself out in that first round, and then be the veteran, be Alves, beat him the last 2 rounds. Those are your best shots, being a little bit slower and a little less technical and a little less dynamic.
Ooh, looked like both guys landed big left hands there. Under 2 now to go in round 2.
Now Alves starting to work that low kick, soften up, Starpoli. Starpoli doing a great job, though. I mean, he's kept Alves off of him the entire fight with all the different techniques, and he's not slowing down.
I think he's still fighting very well.
Very well. Very well.
He's fighting really well. Yeah, he's winning the fight. He seems to be winning the fight. And we never know what people are watching. And the fight can change at the drop of a hat, but I'm very impressed with Starpoli. Look at that combination. I mean, this kid's fighting well, man.
And even when Alves, DC, raises that right hand, some of that blow still getting through.
Yeah, he does. And look, now he's changing it, right? He's trying to go with the right uppercut, left hook. He went with the left hook, right uppercut. It's just the ability to switch so much allows those punches to come from so many different angles. It's like Thiago's fighting two different fights because the guy's never where you expect him to be.
Left hook, right low kick. And he's always used these techniques, Aldo's, and he's always been effective. This is what he does. He stays traditional. And it works for him as the fight moves on. He's using a little less energy than these guys.
Nice two body shots. Nice two body shots by Starpoli.
Starpoli's on him.
You see Starpoli breathing a little bit heavier now, finally. And Alves still looks great. He looks like he just started the fight. Maybe you're right, because the actions aren't as big. Even the right hands that Starpoli throws are with every bit of himself. Thiago's just letting everything kind of flow.
It's 9-0 this man. Thiago Alves has fought everybody. He's got 42 fights in the octagon. He had a game plan to wear the sharper, faster guy down. He had to. That's his best hope against a super technical guy. Starpoli is very hard to deal with, and Alves is fighting a very smart fight right now.
Alves with a nice combination as he presses forward. Final seconds here in round 2.
And Starpoli is so dynamic. Goodness.
Right here, look, this is Thiago Alves. When he's at his best, he's doing that, beating up those legs, but look at that, right uppercut, left hook by Starpoli, and then look at the body shot. That's what you gotta go, body, head by Starpoli. It's a good fight. It's a very close fight, got much tighter in the second round. Both of these guys are fighting great.
You're gonna dominate in here. Let's do it. Breathe deep. Your boxing's really good. Your boxing's really good. Very simple. 2 jabs, cross. 5 minutes to win. It's 1-1. You got it? You have these 5 minutes and even more. He doesn't like your hands.
That is a power corner for Thiago Alves, Conan Silveira, Pahumpa, Marcos D'Amata, Catel Cubas. Dom, your thoughts on what we're going to see out of Alves here, round 3? They think it's 1-1.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, you really don't know by the judges. This is a close fight. It looks like Starpoli might be up a little bit, but I think this is the round Alves decided. I'm going to wait till the third to really try to get this done, and we'll see how he shows up.
Wow. Starpoli likes the fight, though.
Yep.
If you're going to bring the fight, Starpoli likes a big knee by Alves.
Starpoli's thinking the same thing as Alves.
Nice shot by Alves. He takes Laureano down.
That's
nice
experience.
Yep.
That's experience.
And this is what it's about. Taking it to the third round, utilizing what you know in the fight game to beat some of the youngsters coming up.
He's got to be ready to stay in this fight, though. We saw in Starpoli's UFC debut. He's going to continue to press the fight.
Oh, yeah. Starpoli is not tired, and he is in this. He's looking to knock out Alves right now, just like Alves is looking for it. These guys are both in this fight.
So a nice job by Starpoli to get this fight back to the feet. Numbers pretty close, but Starpoli has been the more active guy as he rips the body there.
Very smart of Starpoli to go to the body the way he is, too. I like that on his part.
And he's been committed to it throughout.
Not quite enough from Alves on that leg. It's not really beating Starpoli's leg up too bad. He's not eating it the way that we saw Moraes eating it. Just your heel drives into the mat.
It's because he's having to go backwards. So even when he's throwing that kick, he's like fading back.
Ooh. Oh, Starpoli's got some energy here. This kid's got some energy in him. He does not get tired.
You see the picture for the significant strikes, 50-37 for the Argentine. Rich soccer history and rivalry between these two nations. Thiago Alves was excited about that backdrop to this fight.
I mean, everybody should be excited about Starpoli too, because this guy is, like I said, 9-0. 8-1. He's basically, 9 fights. Excuse me, thank you for that. 8-1 and 9 fights deep, and he's already looking this good. I mean, he's going to be fun to watch as he continues.
Thiago forced that takedown action. Great entry.
Alves wearing it a little bit, dealing with a cut. Looks like right beneath that left eye. Starpoli back to the body work.
Genius. I mean, it's so smart. It's very smart of him to go to the body, and it's really slowed Alves down. After that first exchange where he got the respect from Alves at the beginning of that third round, he said, nope, not today. And that immediately slowed down Alves, and then he started going to the body of Alves, and fundamentals or not, you start beating up the body, it slows the person down.
Star Poli is such a big guy for this weight class, too, that he's throwing that lead body shot from the open.
2 minutes now to decide this one. Alves goes to the inside leg kick. And another one for good measure.
He's got such good timing, Star Poli. I mean, he sets everything up by circling you into his power and his kicks and his spin attacks and his elbows. I mean, extremely good at setting you up by switching stance and circling you into his power. And that's one of his best attributes mixed with his feints.
Certainly appears to be the fresher, more active guy here down the stretch.
He did not get tired, and that's huge for him. He kept the dynamic movements. There's a nice uppercut landed by Alves. Don't forget, Alves has one of the best left hooks in the game, and he's looking for it right now.
Alves with the low leg kick. He's done a pretty good job raising his guard defensively, but Star Poli just hasn't stopped with the offense.
He's just throwing so much at him, man. It's like you keep throwing stuff at the wall and hoping something sticks, and right now that's what Star Poli's doing. Great body kick by Thiago, sorry.
I think the plan also was to get the youngster tired, and really, Star Poli came in shape. Very good shape.
Nice knee, nice knee.
Landed.
That one forces Laureano to retreat.
The veteran's on him. And that's what happens. You can't ever sleep on a veteran like Alves. He's always in the fight.
And Alves pressing forward, smells blood in the water. Heavy kick there. Under 30 seconds now to go.
Yeah, he's hurt him. Star Poli's got the respect now.
Nice read by Alves to land that left hook.
Alves is on him, turning it up. End of this round.
Star Poli fought a great third round.
Oh! Alves lands the knee, and then he slips on the retreat.
Alves finishing so strong, though.
Awesome fight. These two.
Could be a tough one to judge.
Huge punches landed by Alves there. Beautiful fight.
Another great showcase for the UFC's welterweight division that is absolutely loaded. 26 UFC fights for Thiago Alves, just 2 for Laureano Star Poli. We will find out shortly if he did enough to take out a big name in his UFC debut tonight. This fight replay is brought to you by Namajunas, bold character since 1872.
Seeing here, Alves with those low kicks that he loves so much. Nice uppercut by Star Poli there. Beautiful body shots, finishing to the top of the head. And right here, more leg kicks, combinations by Star Poli, walking through the leg kicks, hunting down Alves, and Alves using his technical ability and his experience to time the perfect takedown. More body shots that really started to slow down Alves towards the third. And both these guys stepped up heavy in this last round. You saw this knee land, it hurt Star Poli, got him moving back, gave him a good bloody nose, and now they're both bleeding.
These fighter stats are brought to you by PokerStars. Pound for pound, the greatest online poker experience in the world. Take on the best to win millions of prizes every day on PokerStars.net. Head strikes, 2-to-1 ratio for Laureano Star Poli. Body strikes, he had the advantage as well. No surprise to see Thiago Alves have the advantage in terms of the leg strikes, 25-3. All right, the scorecards are in. This official decision brought to you by Metro by T-Mobile. Catch all the action with Metro by T-Mobile. Get knockout coverage on a network that rivals the big guys for way less. Bruce Buffer now with that decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. The judges score the contest 30-27, 30-27, and 29-28 for the winner by unanimous decision, Laureano Pepe Staropoli.
What a moment for the team and for Laureano Star Poli. Congratulations. If we can maybe get a cut man in here to get this man a towel. Can I get that towel, sir? Laureano Star Poli, congratulations on a huge win here tonight. Was this the fight that you were expecting against Thiago Alves?
Parabéns pela vitória enorme. Essa é a luta que você esperava contra o Thiago Alves?
Sí, eu achei que iba a ser una luta muy dura, muy difícil, lutar con una lenda. Só com 2 lutas, muito obrigado UFC, muito obrigado aqui a gente. Eu represento a Brasil porque eu estou morando aqui no São Paulo, treinando com o melhor equipo de Brasil, a Chute Box. Então, galera, espero que a partir de agora torça mais por um argentino que ama vocês. Obrigado a todo mundo.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be a really tough fight against a legend like Thiago Alves. And you know, I'm Argentinian, but I'm living in Brazil. I'm training in São Paulo with the best team, so I'm representing Brazil as well.
Non-stop offense from you and pressure the entire 15-minute fight. How much of your strategy was rooted in that to keep the pressure on the veteran from horn to horn?
Você continuou avançando e atacando durante 15 minutos. Essa era a sua estratégia?
Sí, eu queria nocautear a ele no terceiro round. Porque eu sentí que tenía más guys, pero sí fue estrategia. Y UFC, por favor, quiero pelear el 10 de agosto en Uruguay, en la tierra de mis hermanos uruguayos. Quiero estar representando a Argentina, representando a Brasil y representando a Latinoamérica allá. Muchas gracias.
Yeah, I wanted to knock him out in the 3rd round. And you know, UFC, I really want to fight in the next card in Uruguay. I'm representing Brazil, I'm representing Latin America.
Great performance tonight. Enjoy it with the team. Congratulations. Let's hear it, Rio, your winner, Laureano Starpoli.
Laureano Starpoli did a fantastic job following the game plan, going at a tough Thiago Alves and winning the fight across the board. Did not slow down, fought to his potential, and now has truly made a statement in the UFC. The kid is really good, and I'm excited to see the next time he steps in the octagon.
Well, that's a big part of the goal, right? To make people want to see you fight again, and certainly mission accomplished for Laureano Starpoli. 2 guys who are about as watchable as it gets. The UFC welterweight champion, Kamaru Usman, and of course, Thiago Marreta Santos, a couple months away from challenging Johnny Bones Jones for the UFC light heavyweight title. All right, now we take a look at the UFC's live event schedule for the rest of 2019. This includes select locations through September 21st. Not a whole lot of dark weekends, man, the rest of the way in 2019. You see July 20th left of your screen, San Antonio, Texas, for a UFC Fight Night on ESPN. We also have an ESPN Fight Night on August 3rd. Pay-per-views in August and September, UFC 241 at the Honda Center in Anaheim, California. We are back to Abu Dhabi for the first time in a long time for UFC 242. October 5th, it'll be UFC 243. October 18th, we'll have a UFC Fight Night on ESPN2, and you see the schedule for November and December. All systems go for the MMA leader the rest of the way in 2019. All right, now time to go backstage and check in with Megan O'Leary. MJ.
Thank you so much, John. Well, interviewing Ronda Rousey is always such a fun experience. And recently, I was granted the opportunity to sit down with the UFC Hall of Famer, where we had such a fun interview. We covered a really wide array of topics, from her legacy in the UFC, her recent time with the WWE, and of course, those much talked about comments about motherhood. You started sharing publicly that being a mother is next on your list. What has the reaction been like for you guys?
Every single person that I talk to, usually any friend that I catch up with, is like, so when are you gonna have a baby? So when's baby time? We're like, we're gonna see some little Ronda and Travis's. And it's just such like a hopeful time, you know, and positive and optimistic of like, I wanna like bring a person into this world. I think I'm gonna take like my first test tomorrow or the day after. How would you like surprise somebody and be like, we're gonna have a baby? Because I can't keep secrets. If he walks in the front door, I'll be like this.
He'll be on the phone immediately.
He's walking in the front door, I'm like, hi babe. There's like something upstairs for you right now, but it's like nothing to do with the baby. Like, I will break immediately, so I don't know. I gotta figure this out.
This is an interview you really don't want to miss. Ronda was very open and honest throughout the entire conversation. It is released tomorrow in its full length on UFC.com and YouTube at 12 Eastern. But if you can't wait, you want a little sneak peek, I was actually able to get about a 6-minute preview, which I've now posted on my Instagram at Megan O'Leary. I think you guys will really enjoy this conversation. I know I did. John, back to you guys, Octagon side.
Megan, Ronda, one-on-one. All right, Dominic Cruz, this next fight, man, the one everyone's been buzzing about here all week.
Not all that hard to figure out what's at stake. José Aldo putting his #1 featherweight ranking on the line against the 4th-ranked Aussie Alexander Volkanovski.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really be more excited about any fight on this card. This could easily be a main event for the next month. I mean, these guys are going to bring it. It's going to be a car crash in the middle of the octagon because Volkanovski does not take a step back no matter what you hit him with, unless maybe you got a pole of some sort. So that might just have to be Aldo's leg.
Well, who does Las Vegas like in this one? These fighter odds brought to you by Poker Stars. Pound for pound, the greatest online poker experience in the world. Take on the best to win millions of prizes every day on PokerStars.net. José Aldo, the -155 favorite. Alexander Volkanovski comes back, the +135 underdog. Well, showing championship form in his last 2, José Aldo has revived his hopes to regain the featherweight title, but Australia's Alexander Volkanovski has touched down in Rio, where his opponent is the ultimate icon.
Então, na minha memória que eu tenho aqui, né, de ter lutado no UFC Rio, sempre é os cânticos, né? Eu lá, ó, vem aí, o bicho vai pegar, né? Então, entre outros, que tem o vai morrer, isso tudo, então a torcida vem junto com a gente, lutando, vibrando. Eu acho que é bem diferente de qualquer outro lugar do mundo.
I really don't think fighting in Brazil, in his home country, is going to affect me at all. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to focus on what needs to be done. It's no secret that they're passionate over there. I've watched a lot of UFC events and see Aldo across the cage from me, and that's all I'm going to be focused on, the job that needs to be done. So I really don't think that's going to affect me. So that's just going to make the win even bigger.
He's just putting a lot of pressure on Mendez. Drilling to the body, he dropped him.
Mendez goes down. Alexander the Great.
I'm not a prospect anymore, I'm a contender, and I'm a real threat to this division, and that fight got me there.
Então, a performance dele da última luta contra o Chad Mendes, vamos falar que foi boa, ele pressionou o Chad, mas não teve domínio, até que o Chad cansou e pôde vencer a luta. Então, ele está tendo sucesso pelo fato de não enfrentar um cara assim como eu, né? Com a mesma habilidade, com a mesma versatilidade que eu tenho, com as habilidades, isso tudo.
Aldo's best in the first round. Third, he starts to fade. But I think Alex, the pressure he's going to put on him, like the way Max Holloway did to Aldo, you wait to see what Alex does. He's got a different kind of pressure that even I don't like. So I don't think Aldo's felt anything like that yet.
I'll make anyone in the UFC fade with my pressure, and I believe that I'm going to make people fight my fight at my pace, and no one's going to keep up.
Então eu vejo essa luta terminando com a minha vitória. Pode ter certeza que essa noite é nocaute. E eu acho ainda que vai ser bem mais fácil como todo mundo está achando.
All right, so here is a man who is all the rage at present, Alexander Volkanovski, 6-0 in the UFC, 16 consecutive wins. The former rugby league standout, he left that career to pursue this dream. I was with him in the elevator today, DC, and he said, man, I can't believe how much I like everything that seems to encompass competing here in Brazil against a Brazilian.
Yeah, he's enjoying it, A lot of people get intimidated by the crowd. We've made reference to it on a number of occasions, but he loves being here. He's excited about fighting Aldo and making it a no-brainer that he's next to fight for the featherweight championship. He said, even though Chad Mendes dropped him, he was never hurt. And when he looks at the little guys, he calls guys in this weight class, he goes, this is nothing compared to what I used to face at the rugby pitch or whatever it's called. It's called the pitch?
We'll go with pitch, that's fine. Feels okay, I think.
Listen, this guy used to weigh 205 pounds. I mean, his head looked like a rugby ball when he was that size. And now he's facing 45ers, and he's like, yo, like you said, DC, these guys are nothing. I've faced giants. And when you look at his frame, those are the most powerful people on earth, are the ones that were super heavy, and then they suck their weight down, and they're little guys, really, but they've got that, they're used to carrying all that extra weight, and they just get so much stronger. I mean, This guy, I think you can't understand how strong, powerful, and athletic and how good his cardio is until you're in there with him. Aldo does have a really nasty leg kick he's going to have to worry about, though.
The king of Rio de Janeiro, #1 ranked featherweight contender and former two-time UFC champion, José Aldo. Enjoy him while he's here, folks, because he is not going to be here forever, but it's amazing to think where he was after that two-fight series with Max Holloway to where he is now. Back-to-back knockouts as slight betting underdog against Jeremy Stephens and Renato Moicano, and he puts his status as #1 contender on the line tonight against Alexander Volkanovski.
What I love most about Aldo is they offer him a fight in the top 5 and he takes it no matter where he's ranked, not only because he's old school and he comes from the beginning of this thing, but also because he just wants to take out the contenders from the bottom to the top. Right. And that is such a smart mentality as a former champion and just as a championship mindset. What does it matter? If you're the best in the world and you know it, start with number 10, work your way up, beat them on, then there's nothing at the top to beat. And that's what Aldo's looking to do. And he's looking to do it as fast as possible. He resorted to his support system to come back from the back-to-back losses. He said, Dede, can I do this anymore? And that's what he needed. Dede said, you know what? We know you can do this. We're going to get that belt back. And when you have somebody you trust in like that, like his head coach, Dede, that's where you can create great things.
You know, everybody made a big deal that, oh, Aldo's done. He only lost to Conor and Max Holloway. It's not like he was just losing to random guys. He was losing to the very best in the world, and he's proven that by winning these 2 fights back-to-back.
There is such a love affair between this city and this athlete, and they are all packed to the nines tonight to see José Aldo perform yet again. He is 32 years old. His counterpart, Volkanovski, is 30. José Aldo, the taller man by an inch. Volkanovski will enjoy a reach advantage of 1.5 inches. All right, now for the introductions, we turn it over to Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC featherweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record. 19 wins, 1 loss. He stands 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighing in at 145 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Windang, New South Wales, Australia, presenting the #4 ranked featherweight contender in the world, Alexander the Great Volkanovski. And now, introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 28 wins, 4 losses. He stands 5 feet 7 inches tall, weighing in at 146 pounds. Fighting out of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, presenting the former WEC featherweight champion and the former 2-time UFC featherweight champion and the #1 ranked featherweight contender in the world, José Aldo Jr. And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Mark Goddard.
Mark Goddard, our referee for this one. The wait for Aldo Volkanovski ends here. Camila Oliveira getting us started for round 1 in the UFC's featherweight division. Tonight's winner could very well be next for the UFC featherweight champion, Max Blessed Holloway. José Aldo wearing the yellow trunks. Alexander Volkanovski is in black. He said he wants to get Aldo thinking in there, Dom, make him answer questions in his head. We'll see if he can do just that.
Sorry, Eddie. We haven't seen Aldo throw that low kick in a long time, and I think that is going to be one of the main weapons he's going to need to use to dismantle the pressure of Volkanovski as this fight goes on. So I'm curious to see if he brings that back in this matchup.
Volkanovski's smiling the whole time. He's excited to be here. He's loving it. He's living in it.
He's in it.
But right away, you see Aldo just keeping the center, taking the center, not allowing Volkanovski to just back him up quite yet.
Never off bold character since 1872. Jose Aldo didn't come away overly impressed with the film on Alexander Volkanovski. Felt like Chad Mendes had better wrestling, and as you saw in that feature there just now, he said, I expect this to be easier than everyone thinks. We shall see.
Volkanovski said how important it was to get Aldo to bite on feints. That was super key in his matchup, and right now, Aldo's not biting on much.
Aldo's hands looked faster than ever in his last win over Renato Moicano. That was February 2nd of this year. Seven successful title defenses for Jose Aldo during his first UFC reign. His rematch with Chad Mendes at UFC 179, October 2014, will go down as one of the best fights in UFC history.
Yes.
Right now, Volkanovski's trying to get Aldo to react. That's all he's doing. That's why he's touching, tapping the legs. He's trying to get Aldo to react, to read how Aldo's looking to counter Volkanovski. But right now, Aldo's not biting and he's pressuring.
This was very key for Volkanovski. He needs to get Aldo going backwards. He's got to be the guy pressuring to make Aldo tired. Even Max Holloway in the Holloway fights, Holloway was able to just keep touching him, and being tough enough to take the damage to wear Aldo out.
City Kickboxing's Eugene Behrman among those in the corner of Alexander Volkanovski. He lands a couple leg kicks, body strikes now from Aldo.
And I swear Volkanovski doesn't really wake up until you hit him a few times. And that's what we're seeing here. Once he got hit in the stomach, all right, you're going to start seeing these guys wake up in a moment once they tag each other.
Same thing though, right? Volkanovski just getting more going to this point. Aldo's watching, like you say, making his reads, but he hasn't done all that much. Volkanovski's the one that's kind of doing a lot of the actions right now.
And amazing to think that Volkanovski looks like the naturally smaller man in here, despite getting as high as 220 pounds in his rugby league career. Aldo seems to be in a pretty good focused groove here early.
I mean, in no country do you hear support like this. Could only wish for that back home in the United States.
I think the Aussies and the Canadians might respectfully disagree, but don't want to leave anybody
right.
out.
I mean, every time someone, Aldo taps him, there's just the whole place goes crazy. There's that low kick. He's going to be needing that, Aldo.
It's been Volkanovski to this point, though, that's landed the majority of the kicks. The inside leg kick already has Aldo a little bit red.
And Volkanovski said that's what he was going to have to do, is throw the kicks before Aldo does, and then Aldo can't throw his, and that's what's happened. The numbers say it.
Volkanovski has done his research, right? Taking Aldo down against the side of the octagon on the leg has always proven to be very difficult. So the approach is a little bit different. Get in tight, grab on him, hold on him, hopefully wear him down, and then to get your takedowns later or beat him like Holloway did.
Aldo loads up on the right hand, nothing doing. Volkanovski can go all day. We're scheduled for 15 minutes max here in this one.
And Aldo said 15 minutes after fighting 25 for so long.
Right.
He can go much, much harder.
Nice knee from Aldo. Nice stick with the left hand by Volkanovski at the end of the round.
If you're Volkanovski, you're happy with that round.
Sure.
You won that round. For all the oohs and ahs, you know, you won that round if you're Volkanovski. Look at this right here. The inside leg kick. That was the story of the round. You can see the redness in the leg of Aldo, too. Inside leg, inside leg. And as he's doing it, Aldo lands two big body shots, but they were few and far in between. The majority of the round, it was Volkanovski going forward, throwing the kicks and just kind of outpointing Aldo.
He's gonna back up, got it? He can't let him put you against the cage. He sees it's not easy. You gotta start now. You gotta put some strength on him for him to feel it.
Jab, and we're gonna roll our elbows up to stop that counter. Okay? Yeah. So throw your punches a bit shorter, don't throw them up. Keep the up, Volk. Now you can go a little bit. Yeah.
He's gonna be kicking hard now.
The unauthorized reproduction or distribution of this copyright work is illegal and punishable under law. Dom, you seem to like what you heard out of one of those corners.
Yeah, I like Aldo's corner that they got to get the respect out of Volkanovski. They're saying, you got to hit him, man. You can't just sit and wait anymore. Like DC was saying, he's waiting too much. And his coach, Aldo's coach just said that. You got to go get the respect from this guy.
You got to get started. He said you got to get started.
Volkanovski right back to work, just touching the inside of Aldo's lead leg.
What I like about Volkanovski touching the leg like that is, like I said, that makes him longer. So now he follows up that kick with his hands. And that's what makes him so effective, is he doesn't just throw his hands being short. He throws his kicks first and then follows his kicks with his hands, being a shorter, powerful fighter.
And as such, starting to find a home for that right hand over the top. Well, one thing you knew about Alexander Volkanovski, he was not going to be intimidated by the atmosphere nor the opponent. Off to a pretty good start through 6 minutes.
He's fighting really well. Staying well within himself, fighting really well and smart.
Well, and that's a big key, staying within yourself against somebody who can turn your lights out as quickly as Jose Aldo can.
And you see it, right? In all the explosions of Aldo. They're not many to this point. But in every explosion, you see how fast and quick he still is.
I love how Volkanovski will tap the kick, and then all of a sudden he'll fake a hook, and the hook's not even looking to land. He's throwing the kick. Nice jab by Aldo there.
Yep, that drew an acknowledgement from Volkanovski. Man, Aldo's fast twitch muscles just needed the target in a blink. Not much in terms of leg kicks from Jose Aldo thus far, just a couple.
I think getting kicked first by Volkanovski is what's throwing that off. If you get kicked in the lead leg, you can't throw the back leg.
Aldo's doing a really good job of rolling these strikes. Volkanovski, every time he throws to the head, Aldo's just kind of rolling. Oh, nice jab by Volkanovski.
2-1. I like how Volkanovski faked the right hand and came up the middle with a 1. 2-1 combo is tricky, especially with the shorter fighter. You can't just throw an empty jab when you're short. And now he's faking the right, throwing the jab after.
His feints are starting to draw reactions from Aldo.
Ooh, nice elbow. Yeah, man. Volkanovski getting closer and closer with his strikes.
Hold on. Can you see me? Jose, wait. Listen, Alex. Stay there. Come here. Alex, there. Look at me, Jose. Stay here. Alex, away. No coaching. Okay, good. Alex. No, listen, my friend, look. No. That happens again, that's twice. That happens again. No option but a point, okay? Oh, really? Please be careful. Okay? Turn in. Right.
Very well handled by Goddard. I mean, you gotta, with the eye poke and being able to separate him and taking control of the octagon, very well handled. That's how a ref should handle an eye poke.
Yeah, a little bit of a protest from Volkanovski, but the replay clearly showed some swelling underneath the left eye of Volkanovski now. Under 2 minutes here in round 2.
Ooh, good left hand and good counter right by Aldo. Volkanovski getting to the pressure now. He looks strong here too.
But he just keeps working.
Yep.
This is what Volkanovski does. Once he gets you against the side of the octagon, he's just constantly working. He doesn't let you rest.
Those are 6 hard knees, now 7.
And those hurt. They do hurt.
They start to dead the leg.
Yep, that's big. Those are big.
Right on the nerve. It's right on that ligament. Now look at Aldo. Look at what Aldo's trying to do now to stop it.
It's annoying when people do that to you right there up against the fence. And this is why their coach, Aldo's coach, said you can't sit on the fence. Notice Aldo stays strong, but he doesn't slide his feet. He's not sliding up. There it is. Now when he starts sliding his feet, he gets out. You got to slide your feet against the octagon. You can't stay settled. They almost got to go parallel with the fence here in order to move your hips and swivel them out from the pressure. And right now, the way Aldo sits, it just allows Volkanovski to keep him there. He needs to be sliding his hips back and forth on the fence. Almost like a paintbrush. See, there's no pummeling going on, right, DC? Why isn't Aldo pummeling? He's just holding an overhook. This is where you're so good, DC. Why don't you explain how important it is to pummel against the fence?
The overhook is it can be a good position. The vast majority of times you want to re-dig, re-pummel back inside. I mean, Dominic, what are you doing? I can't just give it all away.
That's our job, DC. It's not about you, buddy.
It's about to be.
Whoa. Man, 10 minutes have just ripped off the clock as we close it down here in round 2. Tactical battle here is beautiful. King of Rio might just have some work to do in this third round.
Yeah, it feels like it. Feels like he's got some work to do with 5 minutes left.
He's behind.
Volkanovski is fighting a fantastic fight.
Perfect fight.
Agreed. You gotta have an attitude. It's either 1-1 or 2-you. But it could be 1-1. I need this round. You gotta pressure him from beginning to end. He felt your knee. Start hunting him down. He's gonna protect his stomach.
Good to step inside, Bob. Yeah. Just sits right up. But just be careful if he steps back.
Yeah, because he's loading up now. He's getting desperate. So
do
you want to?
Listen, now he's starting to back up.
Hold that, Brad.
Jab up
right.
and coming short.
Hold it. Oh yeah, give him there.
What's up?
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Well, Andre Pedernera-Stom about as credentials as it gets when it comes to working a UFC corner. Your thoughts on the message there after round 2?
My thoughts are, Dede knows that he's behind because of the coaching that he is, because of the coaching that he has in his belt, under his belt, but he knows the psychology of his fighter is what I'm seeing. And he's telling him what he needs to tell him to try to keep him in the fight. Who knows, maybe being down 2 rounds to nothing to Volkanovski might freak Aldo out. I don't know, but I don't think that was the right info. I think Aldo's down 2-0 and he has to win this round or get a knockout.
They know the relationship that they have. They understand the terminology that needs to be used in the corner between rounds. I mean, this is a corner that's won multiple UFC titles. But on this night in Rio, I feel he's behind. And overall, it hasn't been the best night for Brazilian fighters. I mean, we haven't seen many guys and women get their hands raised.
Volkanovski is fighting a perfect fight right now, to be honest.
And now there's a big right hand from Alexander as we show you the picture in terms of the distance strikes thrown and landed. More than twice as many for Volkanovski.
Crushes him against the fence. Exactly what he needs to do.
Volkanovski getting away with the fence grab there. Crowd didn't like it.
And for as much as people want to boo it, you know, he's effectively stumping José right now by keeping him inside of the octagon. He controls all those big actions that José usually uses in the middle of a fight.
You got to think of fence work almost like being on your back. If you stay flat with your back flat against the fence, you can't move. On the ground, if you're swiveling your hips, shrimping, moving, it's hard for people to control you. It's no different on the fence. You've got to be swiping your hips, digging underhooks, pummeling.
And
there it is, and turning.
Side. Yep, you got to go to the underhook side. You can't stay square. Now Aldo has to go to work. You know, he has that ability. That power he carries it very late in fights. He's got to go to work.
Nice head movement from José Aldo, but Volkanovski continues to throw offense his way. José slips in a knee.
What I'm seeing is Aldo looking for the perfect punch or the perfect kick for the knockout. And Volkanovski's willing to just work, miss, keep the offense going, and get Aldo behind while Aldo looks for the perfect knockout. And it's just not going to happen. Aldo needs to get to work, start throwing combinations, and start throwing body shots to the leg kick and things of that sort, because he's way behind.
When Volkanovski tries to enter, maybe Aldo could time some knees. That would help him a lot. Just start throwing lead knees as Volkanovski tries to enter, especially when he changes to southpaw. Aldo should be digging that right knee in there.
We have crossed the midpoint now of this third and final round. Co-main event coming up next. Not much in terms of volume from Jose Aldo.
So many fights, so many big fights. You have to be up for every single one. And even as the #1 contender, right? Being the #1 contender, even after he lost his belt to Connor and then lost his belt to Max, he's always had to fight the very best the divisions had to offer. And it seems like on this night tonight, like just one, he's not really able to, it's not going as he probably intended, right?
Sure.
Like the body's not responding like maybe the mind's telling it to respond.
To me, DC, it looks like Aldo's fighting more not to lose than he's fighting to actually get this win. And he wants the win, but the results look like he's just fighting to not lose. He's not being super offensive. He's not throwing any combinations. He's looking for 1 to 2 punches at a time. And that's why he's so far behind right now.
Volkanovski fighting for a second underhook here, now controlling the left wrist of Aldo. And you see the total strikes round by round. Volkanovski's had the advantage statistically every step of the way.
He's just working. He's just working. Volkanovski's just working. Jose's not working to match him. You know, sometimes a fight you know is going to be very, very difficult. You're going to have to work really, really hard the whole entire time. And it just doesn't seem like Jose's right now willing to put the work in that Alexander's willing to put out.
Looking at the clock. Why are you looking at the clock right now if you're Aldo? I don't know. You got to get off the fence. You got to pummel. You got to swipe your hips. You got to move. We're behind.
And Volkanovski with these knees staying busy enough for the referee, Mark Goddard, here under 30 seconds now to go in the fight.
Stay busy, gents. Thank you.
And like you said earlier, John, I don't get starstruck very often, but I see Aldo. Right. And I'm starstruck. But right now, I'm not seeing him fight as I saw him fight in those last 2 fights. He was so in his game on the last 2, and on the third one, I don't feel as though he did enough to even warrant thinking when he walks to the middle that he got his hand raised. Volkanovski got it done. He fought well.
So Volkanovski and Jose Aldo go the distance. Aldo raises his hands as if he believes perhaps he has done enough to get the nod. This fight replay brought to you by Namajunas, bold character since 1872.
Yeah, you know, the inside leg kicks of Alexander Volkanovski was the big story of this fight early. You know, he just kind of out-touched him in round 1. Aldo, when he did explode into him, he would do really well. The jab of Aldo was sticking Volkanovski, but I think it was just the work rate that carried Alexander, not only in the middle of the octagon, but also against the side of the octagon whenever he would get into the clinch position. I mean, the numbers are staggering in the advantage side of Volkanovski.
Aldo, I mean, he just had to throw more. That's what it comes down to for me. The combinations weren't there. It was 1 to 2 punches at a time, looking for the perfect knockout strike or the highlight reel body shots. I mean, just everything looked like he wanted the highlight reel instead of just putting in the work and slowly picking at Volkanovski.
All right, the official decision is brought to you by Metro by T-Mobile. Catch all the action with Metro by T-Mobile. Get knockout coverage on a network that rivals the big guys for way less. With that decision, the well-dressed Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. All 3 judges score this contest 30-27 for the winner by unanimous decision, Alexander the Great Volkanovski.
Nice moment there between two of the best featherweights in the world, and we certainly consider you as such. 17 consecutive wins, 7-0 in the UFC, none bigger than this one. You have conquered José Aldo. Overall thoughts on the fight tonight? My analysts, DC and Dom, felt like you fought the perfect fight.
17 vitórias consecutivas, você acabou de derrotar o José Aldo. O que você achou da luta essa noite?
Yeah, definitely had to fight that fight. I wanted to land punches, that's what I was standing, trading a long time. Hey, I just want to say thanks, Brazil. What an experience. I'm sorry it wasn't the fight you wanted. Aldo, nothing but respect. You're a legend. Thank you for that. Before I start, I want to shout out to Cole Montgomery. I want to happy Mother's Day to the world. And now let's get to business. Hey, I'm next in line 100%. I'm the only one who's undefeated in the top 3 now. I should be ranked number 1. Let's set it up. Yeah, I wouldn't mind being on the same card in Australia. That'll be a cracker of a card. Let's make it happen.
Essa é a luta que eu precisei lutar. Infelizmente não foi a luta que talvez todos vocês queriam ver, mas o Aldo é uma lenda e essa luta que eu precisei fazer. Um feliz Dia das Mães para todas as mães do mundo. Eu sou o próximo a disputar o cinturão. Espero poder lutar por ele na Austrália.
And one last thing. I had a best friend and his partner who just changed their wedding date so I could be here. So I want to thank you, Eli and Lauren, so much for that. I told you I was going to bring the win. I wish I got the knockout, but what do you do? Thank you, Brazil!
Dos meus melhores amigos mudou a data do casamento para eu poder lutar essa noite, então muito obrigado e muito obrigado, Brasil.
Ladies and gentlemen, likely the new #1 contender, Alexander the Great, Volkanovski.
Alexander Volkanovski did a phenomenal job. Sometimes the fight isn't as exciting as you expected or want it to be, but to come into Rio and get a victory over José Aldo and shut him out across all the judges' scorecards is something to be very impressive, very excited about, very proud of, and may have solidified him as the next contender for Max Holloway's title.
Frankie Edgar certainly probably on that short list, coming off a win, but Volkanovski would appear to be hard to deny. Now 7-0 in the UFC. These fight numbers brought to you by Poker Stars, pound for pound, the greatest online poker experience in the world. Take on the best to win millions of prizes every day on PokerStars.net. As you see, these are the longest active win streaks in the UFC right now. A lot of future Hall of Famers on that list. Of course, they're all chasing Khabib Nurmagomedov, Tony Ferguson, but Volkanovski moving on up. Pedro Munoz on quite the run at bantamweight. He's got a fight with Aljamain Sterling and Johnny Walker, the budding light heavyweight contender, octagon side here tonight. Well, as many of you know, the hits keep on coming. Next Saturday night, we hit Rochester, New York for the first time. It is UFC Fight Night, Dos Anjos versus Lee. Wall-to-wall on ESPN Plus, main card 8 p.m. Eastern. The prelims lead in at 5. Neil Magny, Vicente Luque in the co-main event. Antonio Carlos Jr. shoot-face with another big spot against Ian Heinisch. And, of course, your 5-round welterweight main event between Rafael Dos Anjos and Kevin Lee. All right, these fighter odds brought to you by Poker Stars. Pound for pound, the greatest online poker experience in the world. Take on the best to win millions of prizes every day on PokerStars.net. Jared Cannonier, more pronounced as far as being a betting favorite earlier in the week. Some late money coming in on Anderson Silva, now a slight underdog at +105. Well, the all-time great Silva returns to compete here in Rio for the first time since 2012, and he will look to add to his appreciable legend when he faces power puncher Jared Cannonier.
Martial arts saved my life and give me everything I have in my life. I'm continuing fight. I lose, I win, I'm stay in the top for long years, and now I'm 44 and continue fight in the same level for the new talent.
Everybody likes to throw around the word GOAT and, greatest of all time and stuff. That's just a title. Anderson is a man, you know what I'm saying, like anybody else.
Like every shot count.
When people ask me, do I think I could beat this person? Who do I think I could beat? I think I could beat not only anybody in the division. I think I have the ability to beat anybody in the world. I'm just gonna go in there and fight. I know how to fight. I learned how to dismantle other human beings.
Bad place to be now. It's Cannonier elbows, elbows.
People are finding out about my strike. There's still a lot about me that the fans don't know.
I'm preparing my mind, I'm preparing my body, and my team helped me to stay in good performance, in good shape for this fight.
I'm just going to draw him out. Eventually, he's going to plant his feet and be there when I swing big and hit him.
Oh, knockdown for Cannonier.
That's it.
I don't plan on swinging unless I know he's going to be there.
There has never been anyone like that man right there.
Well, he certainly, as of right now, is the greatest fighter of all time. He rocks him again. It's all over.
One thing, I love my job, I love fight. And the fight now is just try to go inside the cage and put in all my experience outside.
So here he is, folks, one of the consensus greatest mixed martial artists of all time, the former UFC middleweight champion, future Hall of Famer Anderson Silva, DC. He's still got that number 14 next to his name. And it seems like public opinion differs as to where he is at 44 years old. But his last fight against Israel Adesanya, he was able to extend one of the best middleweights in the world over 15 minutes. There was some good in there. Still an interesting puzzle for Jared Cannonier to have to figure out tonight.
Yeah, it's very difficult, you know. There's a lot that goes into fighting Anderson Silva. Everybody wants to do it. We all go, oh, it'd be an honor to fight one of the greatest fighters of all time. And then you're in there, and you take note that it is Anderson Silva. And I think that happened with some of the best fighters in the world, even as he's gotten older. I know what I felt when I was staring across the octagon from him. And Israel Adesanya went through the same exact thing. If Jared Cannonier, a guy who does not have the experience that we have, is not ready to go after Anderson and just treat him as anyone else, then Anderson will pick him apart. He's got some of the best vision that I've ever seen in the octagon, can find shots that can hurt and finish anybody.
Yeah, the tricky thing about Anderson Silva is exactly what you just said. He sees things. He's had everything thrown at him throughout the years of martial arts that he's been in it. He has good vision already, but then also he's got the rounds on the rounds on the rounds. I mean, the way you get the defense and the counter ability as Anderson Silva is the round sparring, the rounds doing the mat work. And this dude has it. That's the problem. And Cannonier is going to have to bring out some different weapons if he's going to offset Anderson Silva, because just using his hands when he's got 8 strikes to use in Cannonier isn't going to be enough. He's going to have to use kicks. He's going to have to use his punches, his kicks to set his punches up. You've got to offset Anderson Silva, because if you don't feint, if you don't fake, if you don't mix it up, he will counter you and he will hurt you.
And one thing no one will deny, still a whole lot of motivation for Anderson Silva. He is still training as hard as ever. Felt like he looked pretty quick during this camp. He'll try to put it all together tonight against Jared Cannonier. With his confidence at an all-time high, here is the 10th-ranked middleweight contender, the Killer Gorilla, Jared Cannonier. Big win over David Branch. Dominic Cruz set up this opportunity against one of the best tonight.
Yeah, Cannonier just got the job done very quick, made quick work of Branch. However, we're facing a different guy. He's got the same stature, that's the good news. He's facing a southpaw, and the right hand of Cannonier is his best weapon. So that does help, because you want to lead with your right hand if you're facing a southpaw and you're conventional, because that is just the fundamentals of the work. However, Anderson Silva, like I said, you've got to mix it up on him. So Cannonier, one of the things he said is kicks have to be the difference in this fight. I haven't kicked enough in the past. That's something I'm going to have to add if I'm going to face this level of fighter, and he knows that.
I mean, Jared Cannonier walked into the fighter meetings with a confidence and a swagger about himself that I'd never really seen.
Yes.
But when you look at Jared Cannonier, and you look at the size and the physicality that he possesses, this is a guy that had knockouts at heavyweight. He won fights at 205, and now down at 185, he looks as though he's finally found the perfect weight class for him. Has a great training camp. He feels as though now he's preparing fully to be the best fighter that he could possibly be. And today, a win over Anderson Silva puts him right on track to accomplish his ultimate goal.
Cannonier, U.S. Army veteran, former airway transportation system specialist for the FAA, left in May of 2017. He has relocated his family to Arizona. This is his 5th fight under John Crouch and Eddie Cha at the MMA Lab. Cannonier and Silva in our co-main event tonight. First, we get you the tail of the tape. Cannonier, 35, got a late start in mixed martial arts. Anderson Silva is 44. Silva the taller man by 3 inches, but it is Jared Cannonier who will have a half-inch reach advantage. All right, now to get us the introductions for the co-main, here is Bruce Butler.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the co-main event of the evening. This fight is 3 rounds in the UFC middleweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist holding professional record, 34 wins, 9 losses, 1 no contest. He stands 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighing in at 185 pounds. Fighting out of Curitiba, Brazil, presenting the former UFC middleweight champion, Anderson the Spider Silva! And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 11 wins, 4 losses. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall, weighing in at 184 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Glendale, Arizona, USA, presenting the number 10 ranked middleweight contender in the world, Jared the Killer Gorilla Cannonier. And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Herb Dean.
Herb Dean, our referee. Jared Cannonier put a lot of focus and emphasis on the early portions of this fight against Anderson Silva, who keeps his hands low, and he says at times you can get caught off guard early. But Cannonier also talked a lot about his speed. He believes he is going to be the faster man on the feet tonight. We shall see. Cannonier is in black, Anderson Silva is in yellow.
Anderson Silva always starts real slow. He always waits for you to throw what you're going to throw. He makes the reads, and then he starts working after you throw what you're going to throw. Similar to what we saw at Alves earlier. It's a similar style. Like, he just waits. Then he can read the counters, and then he gets to work as the fight moves on. We'll see if Cannonier is going to give him enough fakes and enough different looks to offset it.
Cannonier's right in his face. What he needs to do. One thing he can't do is get over-aggressive, though, because that's when you get countered. He's got to take his time.
Cannonier made his UFC debut as a heavyweight against Sean Jordan, UFC 182, January of 2015. He has worked very hard to clean up his technique and says over the last 5 months he's really sharpened his reactions to level changes. Doesn't figure to get too many of those from Silva, but you never know.
He's talking about as he evolves his game, one of the things that he was doing was waiting when he was trying to defend takedowns. And now he thinks that he's really gotten it to a point now where he feels he can go in there with a great wrestler and be able to defend and fend them off and make them stand and fight him where he wants them to fight him.
He also said this week he did expect a deliberate pace in round 1, a little bit of a feeling out process, and that certainly dovetails with what we have seen here through 90 seconds. Nice leg kick from Cannonier, buckles Silva briefly.
He's landed a few of those already. Inside, outside. Cannonier's doing a good job of just taking his time, not overextending himself, staying in great position as he's approaching Anderson.
Silva lands to the body. Anytime he even throws, this crowd's gonna go bananas. Under 3 minutes here, round 1.
This is where you want to let go on Anderson. When you start to put him against the fence, you want to let the hands fly. But you still got to be you also got to be very careful. I love the approach of Jared Cannonier, how patient he is, how he's mixing up his technique. He can't bite on the feints of Anderson Silva.
So far, the problem for Cannonier is he's just staring in the mirror. He's not faking. If you don't fake Anderson Silva, he gets the timing to counter. You have to give him different looks. You have to fake like you're going to throw so he doesn't know when you're coming or going.
Yes.
And right now, Cannonier is not doing that. He's staring right at him, and this is the game Anderson Silva wants you to play with him.
Watching the head, too. You cannot watch the head. You got to be watching the chest. You can't be looking at Anderson's head. It's dipping, dodging, and moving.
Got him there. Got him twice. Right, 3 times, 3 in a row.
Nice slicing elbow from Silva out of the clinch.
And this is where Silva's done a lot of work to people in his clinch.
Oh, Cannonier is so powerful.
Yeah, he showed his power there,
yeah,
didn't he,
hard.
DC?
He's punching out of that tie clinch. And I mean, you've seen Anderson lock guys in there and just really hold them in. Jared Cannonier punches his way out of that thing.
Cannonier orthodox right now. He'll switch his stances frequently.
That's a good body kick. That's coming up and under. It doesn't take many of them to start to slow you down.
Silva hasn't thrown a whole lot through 4 minutes, but when he has landed.
Good head movement by Jared.
He's landing on Silva for sure. Cannonier would do well to just keep going to the body of Anderson Silva. The more you dig to the head of Silva, the counters are there. Counters are harder to react to if you go to the body.
Jared's just a much better fighter today. Even since he fought David Branch, just the patience that he's showing. He's got to be careful here, though. Doesn't want to be trapped.
Total strikes 3-1 for Cannonier. Okay, that hurt Silva, and immediately Herb Dean stops the fight. Silva thought about fighting back for a second, but a right knee injury for Anderson Silva, courtesy of the Cannonier kick, puts an end to this fight, and you just hate seeing that. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, that's not fun seeing anyone get injured.
He landed that inside leg kick over and over again. You know, it's unfortunate that someone gets hurt, but Jared Cannonier came in here with a game plan to land that kick, and he landed it over and over again.
All right, let's take a look back at it. This fight replay is brought to you by Namajunas, bold character since 1872.
I mean, that's a good inside leg kick. You don't know the extent of the injury, but you see Cannonier throw his hip all the way into the kick, and it lands at the knee, right? Like right at the knee is where that kick landed. That's one of the most painful kicks you can take in all of fighting, when someone kicks you right at the knee. You got to try to check that a little bit so that a guy doesn't, but that was a big kick by Jared Cannonier, and that was honestly about number 10 of those exact same kicks, so he might have blew out his knee.
Yeah, well, we've seen that happen to Carlos Condit exactly like that with Tyron Woodley, except it was on the outside of the leg. We saw Cain Velasquez fall funny and hurt his knee. We've seen this happen, and when fighters react to a leg strike like that, it's usually because something tore. If it's just muscle damage, if it's a bruise or a bone bruise, you don't react that way.
I mean, you look at Anderson on the mat over here, Dom. Yeah. He looks like he's screaming and wincing in pain right now at his knee.
Yeah, and that's bad. That's serious business. It's usually, I don't want to say what it is because we don't know, but generally with that kind of pain, it's pretty bad generally. So we hope the best for him.
Yeah, Silva writhing in pain. Of course, not the first time we have seen him injure himself severely inside the octagon, and not at all what he was looking for here tonight. The official decision brought to you by Metro by T-Mobile. Catch all the action with Metro by T-Mobile. Get knockout coverage on a network that rivals the big guys for way less. All right, with the decision now, here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean has called a stop to this contest at 4 minutes, 47 seconds of the very first round. Declaring the winner by TKO, Jared the Killer Gorilla Cannonier.
Good job. Good job, buddy. No, it's fine. Good job.
Nice sportsmanship there by Jared Cannonier to check on his fallen counterpart, Anderson Silva. Congratulations on the biggest win of your career here tonight. I know you expected a feeling out process early. You certainly attacked that leg of his and you were able to get him out of there. Your thoughts on the fight?
Parabéns pela maior vitória da sua carreira. Você, claro que esperava que ele ia sentir ali no primeiro round. O que você achou que aconteceu ali no final da luta?
First off, I want to say thank you to Anderson Silva, obrigado. I really appreciate the opportunity to step in here, and he didn't have to fight me. He could have fought anybody he wanted to, and he accepted the fight with me. So I want to show my appreciation and my respect for him, you know. But the crowd is a different story, so they don't respect me. I ain't got no respect for them, and that's just it.
Primeiramente, eu quero agradecer ao Anderson Silva pela oportunidade, uma maior oportunidade da minha vida. Eu não tenho nada mais que respeito por ele, muito respeito por ele, o ex-campeão.
Any final thoughts before we let you go, my friend? No. Jared Cannonier, congratulations on the win tonight.
Well, that pretty much sums it up for Cannonier. There's not much you can say when they're booing you off the stage for a pretty...
But the reality is he didn't even do anything wrong. He just fought to his game plan. Landed a beautiful inside leg kick. Unfortunately, injuries happen. He fought to his game plan. He wanted to use kicks. He told us it in the meetings. And he used kicks. I think John's going to try to talk to Anderson.
I know you're in a lot of pain right now. You're very gracious to stick around. These people are here for you tonight. Can you tell us what's going through your mind and body right now, sir?
Eu sei que você está com muita dor agora, mas o público está aqui por você. Queria que você falasse um pouco.
Desculpa, galera. Eu nos treinos já tava com meu joelho machucado e acabei tomando chute em cima ali. Não deu para segurar mesmo. Desculpa.
I'm sorry, guys. In training, my knee was already a little bit bad, and I took a kick to it, and I just couldn't hold up. I'm really sorry.
Rio de Janeiro, let's hear it one more time. The Spider, Anderson Silva.
We'll take you through some replays here. Cannonier parrying the jab, bam, inside kick. I mean, that was like the 6th, 7th one that had been landing. He'd been eating up that leg, and he said, I have to throw kicks to make this a different fight. He did just that. You haven't seen this out of Cannonier. This is him adjusting. Beautiful leg kicks, and Silva didn't really check.
From a big, strong guy like Jared Cannonier, you cannot take repeated inside leg kicks. I mean, you know, when we look back on this thing, people will try to say, well, Anderson got hurt. But the reality is, Jared Cannonier did this. He fought to his game plan. If he didn't say this to us on the meetings on Thursday, look, I'm going to kick his leg over and over again, then maybe you think he got hurt. But this was his doing, man. Nothing dirty about the technique, just an inside leg kick landed in the perfect spot.
100%. The only thing I'm going to say is be nice to the crowd in Brazil, whether they respect you or not. I will say that.
So a little bit anticlimactic for sure for Jared Cannonier, who gets the biggest win of his career, but not necessarily the way he drew it up. At the very least, nice to see Anderson Silva leaving under his own power. Michelle Waterson, the number 7 ranked strawweight contender, and a most interested observer tonight for our main event. Speaking of which, we are just about to at our championship main event for Rose Namajunas. Much of the battle is a mental one, waged in the locker room on the walk to the octagon, but once there,
She has proven to be the best in the world. She will put that status on the line again tonight against another finisher, Bate Estaca, Jessica Andrade. 3 straight wins have earned her another crack at the UFC gold. She will try to capitalize tonight with this entire nation behind her. And of course, next month we will be in Chicago, Illinois for UFC 238 as the combat sports legend Henry Cejudo will look to hit yet more rarefied air in the UFC bantamweight title fight with Marlon Moraes. It's a championship doubleheader in Chicago. Valentina Shevchenko, Jessica Ai. Of course, you've got Cerrone and Ferguson as well. We are loaded at UFC 238 coming up next month. And you see the simultaneous 2-division UFC champions. Only 3 fighters have held 2 belts at the same time. Conor McGregor, of course, Daniel Cormier, and Amanda Nunes, the last to do it by knocking out Chris Cyborg not all that long ago. But DC, some pretty good company there, man.
Yeah, man, this is a great fraternity of people to try to be a part of, and Henry Cejudo gets his chance, but he's fighting Marlon Moraes, who is just a nasty, he's a dog. Marlon Moraes, since he got started in the UFC, has been on fire. I know his debut wasn't what was expected, but since then he has been demolishing guys, and Henry Cejudo has just gotten better and better and better. He washed out TJ Dillashaw in the very first round and is only adding to his great sports legacy.
All right, so June 8th, the Windy City getting this epic showdown between 2 of the best in the world. The vacant bantamweight titles on the line. Henry Cejudo looking to become a simultaneous 2-division champion. Magic Marlon Moraes has just steamrolled his way to this UFC title shot. He is richly deserving, and he'll look to strike gold in Chicago at UFC 238. Saturday, June 8th, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, and only on pay-per-view. So Chicago next month, but Rio de Janeiro, Brazil tonight for UFC 237, a capacity crowd on hand. And to DC's point earlier, Brazilians have lost 5 straight. We'll see if Jessica Andrade can change that narrative here in a moment. Now live from Jeunesse Arena here in Rio, it is time for the main event for UFC 237, Namajunas versus Andrade. Well, if you know Rose Namajunas, you know she's about as thoughtful and calculated as it gets, but tonight, she will experience a fight atmosphere like no other as she faces Jessica Andrade and aims to leave Rio the way she arrived as the undisputed UFC strawweight champion.
Defending my belt in Brazil will mean a lot. To face my fears, to challenge myself. Nobody ever wants to go to Brazil. Like, even John Jones, I think, was out there saying that he'd never go to Brazil and fight. This is a great opportunity to become very internationally well known and respected and loved.
At UFC 237, the champ, Rose Namajunas, will have to be up to the challenge of her opponent.
Oh! Jessica Andrade! You gotta be kidding me.
That is a scary woman.
And to take on the challenge of the hostile crowd.
Parece que é eles que estão lá dentro lutando com a gente, né? Escolheu o lugar errado para uma defesa de cinturão, ainda mais comigo.
Being the underdog, I'm no stranger to that.
Juanillo Jacek trying to stay undefeated. She is the prohibitive favorite against Thug Rose Namajunas.
I don't think they were taking into account how good that I was.
One of the most dominant and terrifying champions. She's facing a monster.
I knew that I had a mission, and I dominated her.
Oh! That is it! Thug Rose Namajunas!
Thug Rose!
She was the best in the world at the time, and, you know, now I am. It doesn't matter who's standing across from me.
There's the tap! And that is it!
I will be victorious.
There is a new strawweight queen!
Estamos indo pra guerra. Porque a gente é muito guerreiro, a gente é muito confiante.
This is a vicious young woman, and her striking rate is absolutely absurd.
Man, nothing is stopping Andrade.
O brasileiro já nasce com a força fora do normal, né?
Grabs the guillotine, drops down. She's tapping. That's it.
Não vai ter tempo de pensar em nada. Eu vou sair do golpe e entrar batendo. Se não for no primeiro, vai ser no segundo. Eu vou nocautear.
She goes forward. It's like, oh man, she could take anything, but we'll see when she takes my punch. I'm going into this fight with the intentions of finishing her. May 11th, I'm gonna punch Jessica in the face, take her back, and choke her out. I'm the champ once again.
Contender Jessica Andrade, 26th pro fight, her 10 wins in the UFC, tied with Amanda Nunes for most among women in the history of the UFC. And with 3 consecutive wins, she has earned a second opportunity at this UFC strawweight title, one she will look to capitalize on here in a matter of moments.
Her plan is to be the first strike thrown. Be first. If I'm first, she can't counter me with her long strikes and kicks. I gotta kick and link my punches to my kicks to make myself longer. We've seen that out of a lot of matchups tonight, including our last one. But what I love most about Andrade is her focus in each scenario. At weigh-ins, she's giving roses and smiling and being calm and not wasting energy. On fight night, though, it's all business. There's no more roses being handed out. Only punches, only kicks, and only butt whooping. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen tonight in this matchup.
Jessica Andrade has beat some of the best fighters this division's ever seen. The way she melted Claudia Gadelha, right? We've seen Claudia Gadelha fight some of the best fights that we've seen ever at strawweight, and she melted in front of Jessica Andrade, but that is generally what happens when she's in front of you, fighting with the pace and the pressure that she brings. And then the knockout of Karolina Kowalkiewicz, a one-punch knockout does not happen at 115, male or female. Andrade possesses that power, John.
This is the first time that she will compete as a strawweight in her native Brazil. Her last 9 fights, 8 in the United States, 1 in Japan. She says this is the best cut down to 115 pounds she has ever had. Everything is on point. And she had this quote, Dom, that you absolutely love. She said, a horse with a saddle will only ride past you once. You gotta do something about it.
Oh my gosh, that hypes me up.
Jessica Andrade will try to do something about it in a matter of moments and get this night on track for Brazil and become the new UFC strawweight queen. UFC strawweight champion, Thug Rose Namajunas, returning for the first time in 13 months. Her last effort, a unanimous decision, successful title defense against Joanna Jędrzejczyk. But DC, I think most telling for us when we sat down with her on Thursday, when she was in the locker room before that rematch with Joanna Jędrzejczyk, she was so tense and so anxious, she caused her own hands to bleed. Her head coach, Trevor Whitman, said he was afraid the commissioner might not allow her to fight and deem her mentally unstable, yet she
conquered those demons, turned in another epic performance, and now she puts her belt on the line in what is her first fight outside the U.S.
If this was her feeling going into that fight and she fought as well as she did, imagine if she feels confident within herself. She said she's really worked on that, trying to work on the mental, knowing that she has all of the ability to compete and win these fights. She said this will be a tough fight for Jessica Andrade, because for as good as Jessica Andrade is, even if they were just to box, she feel it would be hard for Jessica Andrade to beat her. She believes this is the perfect style matchup for her and wanted to challenge herself by coming over to Brazil and beating a Brazilian to defend her championship.
Rose says, I gotta set up my kicks with my hands. Andrade says, I gotta set up my hands with my kicks. That's the difference in height. That's the difference in length. And that's the difference in tactics with different body sizes. And that's what makes this matchup so fun. Can Andrade get to Rose? Rose has great footwork, great counter ability moving backwards. Taekwondo kicks come from her base, so they come naturally. This is gonna be a barn burner.
All right, the UFC Strawweight Championship is upon us. Before we get there, your tale of the tape. The champion, Rose Namajunas, is 26. The challenger, Jessica Andrade, 27. Namajunas is taller by 3.5 inches. She will have a 3-inch edge in reach. All right, now to get us started for the main event, here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening, sanctioned by the Brazilian MMA Athletic Commission, Commissioner Caio Portela, Executive Director Cristiano Sampaio. Our 3 judges scoring this contest at Octagon side are Guillermo Bravo, Derek Cleary, and Sal Diamato. And when the action begins, our referee in charge of the Octagon, Mark Goddard. And now, Señoras y Señores in attendance and UFC fans watching around the world, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Live from the sold-out Jeunesse Arena in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. It's time! 5 rounds for the undisputed UFC Strawweight Championship of the world. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a Muay Thai kickboxer holding a professional record, 19 wins, 6 losses. She stands 5 feet 1 1/2 inches tall, weighing in at 114.5 pounds. Fighting out of Niterói, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, presenting the #1 ranked strawweight contender in the world, the challenger, Jessica Andrade. And now introducing the champion, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 9 wins, 3 losses. She stands 5 feet 5 inches tall, weighing in at 114.5 pounds. Fighting out of Denver, Colorado, USA, presenting the reigning, defending, undisputed UFC strawweight champion of the world, Thug Rose Namajunas.
Okay, Jessica Rose, you know exactly what I expect. I want you to fight hard, I need you to fight clean. If I say stop, please stop. If you want to touch, now's the time. God bless.
Woo! Here we go. Thug Rose Namajunas putting the belt on the line. Jessica Andrade getting her second crack to become a first-time UFC champion. Andrade slightly favorite in most places at close, about -120. Rose Namajunas not at all concerned that she is the even money underdog in defense of her belt tonight. With that touch of gloves, we are underway. Jessica Andrade is in yellow, Rose Namajunas in the black and gold, befitting a champion.
What I like already is the fakes, the feints of Rose, in and out, in and out. You'll see as the night has gone on, the best strikers in this game are faking, moving. Oh, they're never static. They're never just sitting looking at you. They're always in, out, different looks. And already it's happening for Rose.
Moving quick. Oh, nice right hand by Rose. She's just sticking her.
It's the movement. It's not just staring at one thing. You're moving it. You're seeing fluent movement with fakes, mixing in the timing of the jabs and the straights. That's what you need in order to get off on a shorter, powerful fighter.
Rose seems a lot quicker than Jessica. She's already marking her up, John.
Right, yeah, you see a cut. That left eye is not at all in good shape for Andrade, less than a minute in. Oh, and Andrade got caught on the way in now.
Yep. Counter left hook is one of Rose's best punches.
Wow.
She steps back and she steps out, lets you, almost twirls you right through.
That jab is like fast. Look at that jab. Rose's jab is popping.
Andrade attacking that lead leg of Namajunas, but she ate a couple strikes there up top yet again.
Those are the kicks you gotta see.
Oh, man!
She's getting tagged though. It's not enough. She's gotta be first. She can't be waiting on Rose.
Rose is way faster than her.
It's that. See the fakes. Footwork, in and out, jab.
Andrade with a level change. Namajunas up against the fence in a decent place to defend.
Kimura. She's on the Kimura, and you can't slam if you stick to the Kimura. No matter where she goes, she will have that Kimura. That Kimura stays locked in. Still got it. That's what happens with a Kimura trap. Straight to the armbar. She's going to transition, and she gets her elbow out. Very nice by Rose.
Nice. Rose Namajunas threatening.
Wow.
Threatening.
High
shorter.
level mixed martial arts through 2 minutes.
No matter what, if Andrade tries to lift and slam Rose, if you grab a hold of that Kimura, it takes away the slam and allows Rose to transition to any grappling technique as long as she keeps a hold of that Kimura trap.
Rose said, I'm going to take her down, take her back, and submit her. I mean, she almost got her with that armbar there. And we've seen this time and time again with Jessica Andrade. When she gets to the leg, she wants to slam you down. If Rose is threatening submissions, that takes away one of her best offensive attacks, that big takedown.
That Kimura does not work if Andrade doesn't lift her. She can't lift her. She can't try to finish that single leg while the Kimura trap is on there. Otherwise, it's always going to be a losing situation unless she can get her arm out first in Andrade.
Namajunas wrestled at the Milwaukee High School. He arts trained with Duke Rufus back in the day, also Greg Nelson in Minnesota. But she gives Tony Basile a lot of credit for taking her jiu-jitsu to the next level.
Andrade can't take more than 2 rounds of this kind of damage, I would say.
I mean, because she's already starting to get stopped when she's getting hit with these shots. It may not look like she's hurt to the blind eye, but she's getting stunned when she's taking these punches. That left hook really did make her stop in her stance. And that, you keep taking that, it'll be a short night.
The jab in the right hand.
Oh! Andrade gets stunned! Wow, Namajunas.
Yep, Namajunas is looking like an absolute savage right now.
Just a calculated killer, off to an outstanding start here tonight. She's got Andrade rendered defensive here, about a minute to go, round 1.
The speed and the technical ability of Rose has just been too much on the outside. The boxing, the straight punches, the fakes, the footwork, the movement, the being able to counter moving backwards. So far, it's been a mixed martial arts display.
I mean, it is a masterclass. Rose Namajunas putting on a masterclass right now in Rio.
Crowd trying to get behind Jessica Andrade. You see the head strikes already 21 lands through 4+ minutes for Thug Rose Namajunas.
That counter hook right there is going to be the key for the entire fight for Rose. She steps out, that one right there, a nice adjustment by Andrade to throw the leg kick on the counter hook.
And a straight right hand from Andrade seemed to get Namajunas' attention.
Rose is tough, man. She stands in there. But Andrade is going to have to keep throwing those kicks. That'll slow down the motion of Rose Namajunas. Right now, she's behind her because she's so much faster. She has to keep throwing kicks if she wants a chance.
And she knows that.
What a first round for the champion.
I mean, I don't think she's ever looked better. I don't think she's ever looked better. Power, efficiency, accuracy.
How's your stamina? Do you feel her hands? No? Then you're good. You did it perfectly. You picked her up perfectly. She started at one pace and started slowing down. She's feeling it. Your takedown was perfect. Kick on the outside.
I mean, this jab of Rose Namajunas was touching Andrade in those straight right hand. Once she landed jab after jab, it was a straight right hand and a hook right hand. Namajunas put on a masterclass. And then right here, Andrade likes to lift. Rose attacks the Kimura right away, which scares Andrade. And then when she's flipped right into an armbar attempt. Just a great first round by the champ. Big knee drops Andrade. It could not have started any better if you're Rose Namajunas. I mean, this place is quiet after watching that first round.
And not as though Andrade didn't get anything done, right? At least in terms of the numbers, significant strikes, 29 apiece, but largely all Namajunas in round one. We'll see if Andrade can make the requisite adjustments in round two.
Andrade's got to throw more leg kicks in this round. Has to.
And for as even as that look, there will never be a person that says round one of Andrade versus Namajunas went to Andrade.
And the reason why we're seeing Rose land so much is she doesn't show her punches. There's no load. They just fire and she's balanced. And so it's hard to read when they're coming with the movement as well. See that counter hook is a thing of beauty, the way she throws it. She steps outside and then throws it.
That left hook was close for Andrade.
That one right there. She just lets you fly right by.
Well,
Very
you
nice.
knew with 13 months away from the game that Namajunas was going to have new wrinkles, take her game to the next level, and she appears to have done that, and then some.
The corner of Andrade saw something. They thought that Rose started to slow down. They liked that she lifted her. Even though she almost got caught with the submission, they liked the lift. They wanted her to keep fighting like this.
Nice counter hook again. That's her best punch, Rose.
Rose has got to keep her hands up, though, as she's backing up. She's throwing that little hook from her hip. She's got to get her hands up.
Andrade doing a good job keeping the forward pressure, but those jabs are just killing.
Just a piston right in your face.
Andrade is doing a good job of drawing Rose into the type of fight that she needs this fight to be right now.
She's just getting jabbed as far as I see.
And when Namajunas has retreated, she has tried to catch Andrade with a power shot on the way in, almost baiting her at times.
See how she circles her, fires the punch into the way that she circles in Rose. So she's leading the dance by circling Andrade into the power. And Andrade comes in straight lines with power, which is effective, but the shifting and the figure eight movements of Rose are really
It's the only type of fight she can win. This right here is the only type of fight she can win. She may get knocked out, but it's the only type of fight she can win. If she stands at distance, she's gonna just get picked apart. She's got to go through the fire if she wants a chance to get Rose Namajunas. Because as we've seen, Jessica does have one-punch knockout power.
Dom, Andrade has done some good work on that lead leg of Rose.
She's got to stay on it. She's doing the right thing. She's gonna, just like DC said at the beginning of these matches, when you're the shorter fighter, sometimes you got to bite down on your mouthpiece and you're gonna take damage. And hopefully you inflict more damage than the taller person on your way in. And right now, it's looking tough for Andrade from the outside. She's got to keep landing those leg kicks to wear down Rose. Otherwise, it's going to be long.
Andrade with a flurry, but out of range until she landed that knee there.
Now, this is why this is the counter they have for the lift of Andrade.
Smart.
If you stay a hold of that, Andrade cannot lift. She can't do it. There, now she's working on the problem, which is the hands. Nope, can't lift there. She'll still get the ball.
Oh! She slammed her right under. No, you can't! Jessica Andrade! The new UFC strawweight champion!
Incredible. Incredible.
Holy smokes!
Just like that, a new world order in the UFC strawweight division. They attend to Rose Namajunas. Andrade owns Rio tonight.
They had an answer for the lift, and she came up with an answer for the answer.
She attacked the hand and moved her head outside to a high crotch. Now she's not on a single. Now the head outside is a much different position. Good to see Rose Namajunas get up. I was very worried about her neck with the way that she fell. But when Jessica Andrade moved the head outside, she's able to lift, put her down with the big slam and get the finish. But as we said, this was the type of fight she had to have.
Beautiful.
Make it nasty, get in close.
So unbelievable. This fight replay is brought to you by Namajunas, bold character since 1872. Jessica Andrade is a world champion. Whoa. How did she do it?
And as we see here, she switches her head to the outside, just as DC said, and put her on her head. That is the one thing that counters a Kimura clearly, as we saw.
I mean, she moved the head to the high crotch here. Now you get hips in, lift. Guys, when I do this, they rotate all the way through. But Rose trying to hold up to the arm did not allow her to flip. If Rose would have let go of the arm, she would have got flipped through and landed on her back. But by holding on to the Kimura, she landed right on top of her head. Hey, run that replay back again, please. Look at this. Holding on to the arm. Look, fell on her neck. If she would have let go, she would have got rotated all the way through and landed on her back. But because the arm kept her in place, she landed right on her neck.
What Rose should have done is once Jessica Andrade moved her head to the outside, you got to switch off the arm and go to the switch of the outside leg of Andrade. She did not do that, therefore Andrade was able to make the right adjustment and get the knockout. Beautiful job by Andrade to adjust.
Trevor Whitman and Pat Barry talking to Rose Namajunas, who is on the stool. Unfortunate end to her title reign here tonight, but this is the first time that strawweights have headlined a UFC pay-per-view. This is the deepest, best division, at least according to the women at 115. Jessica Andrade, the new standard.
You could tell right away that when she got to this division, she was a problem. You could tell right away Jessica Andrade was a problem. And now she's the champ.
All right, the official decision is brought to you by Metro by T-Mobile. Catch all the action with Metro by T-Mobile. Get knockout coverage on a network that rivals the big guys for way less. One final time tonight. Here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Mark Goddard has called a stop to this contest at 2 minutes, 58 seconds of the second round, declaring the winner by knockout and new undisputed UFC strawweight champion of the world, Jessica Andrade.
This arena belongs to Jessica Andrade, the new UFC strawweight champion of the world. No woman in UFC history has won more fights than you, and now you've got a belt to go with it. Congratulations on an unbelievable win here tonight.
Essa arena toda sua, a nova campeã mundial peso palha. Nenhuma mulher ganhou tantas lutas no UFC quanto você.
Eu tô muito feliz, mas esse cinturão aqui, ele é desse cara aqui, ó. Porque sem ele, eu não teria chegado aqui hoje. Se ele não tivesse montado a academia dele dentro da sala da casa da mãe dele há 10 anos atrás, filho de pedreiro, filho de faxineira, eu não estaria aqui hoje. Então esse cinturão é mais do meu mestre do que meu.
I'm very happy, but this is really his belt. If he hadn't put the gym together 10 years ago, I wouldn't be here. He's a stonemason's child, and he put this great team together, and that's why I'm here.
An amazing acknowledgement of your coach, Master Paraná Fagundes. What a crazy fight. What was your mentality in that first round and going back to the stool after the first 5 minutes?
Foi uma luta louca. O que você pensou ali depois, quando você voltou pro seu corner depois do primeiro round?
Eu voltei muito consciente do que eu tinha que fazer no segundo round, que ela estava ficando mais lenta, que eu podia nocautear, que eu podia tentar minhas quedas, e deu certo, eu consegui dar um bate-estaca, que eu nunca dei um bate-estaca, galera, hoje saiu o bate-estaca. E eu trouxe alegria pro meu país, esse cinturão é nosso, é da minha família, meu sogro, minha sogra, minha mãe, meu pai. Feliz Dia das Mães para todas as mães que estão assistindo aqui, pra minha. É isso aí, foi muito treino, foi muita dedicação e hoje deu certo.
I was very certain of what I had to do in that second round. You know, I'd never thrown that move. I never pile drived in the UFC. That's my nickname. So I'm very happy to be able to do that. I know Shushu's slowing down and I wanted to knock her out. So happy Mother's Day to everyone too.
The path to UFC strawweight gold now goes through Rio de Janeiro. Your final thoughts?
Eu quero agradecer a vó Paula, que é a mãe do mestre que está aqui hoje. Sem ela nada disso seria possível, vó. Um beijo pra você, eu te amo, viu? Minha mãe Neuza, meu pai, todo mundo, a família. Minha mãe Cris, pai André, muito obrigado, viu? Sem vocês nada disso seria possível. Obrigado, Brasil. Obrigado, Rose. Você foi uma verdadeira campeã e veio aqui no meu país, sentiu um pouco da energia. É isso, muito obrigado.
I have to thank everyone who's out here with me. You know, everyone's responsible for this. The whole team, everyone that helped me all along. You know, you're all responsible. This is all for you.
Rio de Janeiro, let's hear it for your new strawweight champion, Bate Estaca, Jessica Andrade. All right, we step over here and talk to a very gracious, now former UFC strawweight champion, Rose Namajunas. Crazy end to this fight. We thought that first round was as good as you have ever looked. Any thoughts on a crazy, epic championship fight here tonight?
I'm just so, taken away by how awesome Brazil is. I didn't really get to see much, but just seeing all the Brazilians here with their families and, they don't got to travel to the States to fight just for the night is pretty cool and touched my heart. So I love everybody out here, and it's just a huge pressure off my shoulders, so yeah.
Eu vejo todo o esforço que os brasileiros fazem viajando para ir lutar fora, então foi muito legal vir aqui poder fazer essa luta também, e é isso, muito obrigado.
They don't come more classy than you. We know you will be back. Let's hear it, Rio. Thug Rose Namajunas.
Great performance by Jessica Andrade, great slam. Rose Namajunas was looking phenomenal up to that point, as we spoke about the slam, but Rose said something very telling there. A great pressure off of her shoulder. What's the pressure? Not having the belt anymore, getting rid of the fight week. What is she alluding to, meaning the great pressure off her shoulder?
The belt.
It's got to be the belt.
She didn't want the belt.
Well, we've seen a lot of former champions, José Aldo among them, feel maybe liberated a little bit when they don't have the pressure to defend. You know?
Man, I cried. When I lost the belt, I cried.
Well,
it's not I don't understand. We work our entire lives to get to that, right?
It's a lot of pressure, DC, and you've been at the top for a very long time, to be fair. We really have, and you've had a lot of experience being under that pressure. Rose is learning. She's 9-3. She's learning to be there. Yep. You're exactly right. You're trying to understand it, and that makes sense. You're not wrong.
I'm trying to understand.
But think of how long you've been competing, DC, and Rose is learning, and this is just a little stumble for her. She is incredible.
She looked phenomenal up to the point. But Jessica Andrade stayed the course, and she got off exactly what she wanted to.
And most people believed when Andrade dropped down to 115 pounds that at one point or another, she would be the UFC strawweight champion, and the road to UFC strawweight glory now goes through Jessica Andrade. UFC 237, Namajunas versus Andrade has been brought to you by Poker Stars. Pound for pound, the greatest online poker experience in the world. Take on the best to win millions of prizes every day on Poker Stars. And here's another clip from Megan O'Leary's exclusive sit-down with Ronda Rousey.
And you made more history. And, women headlining WrestleMania.
Yeah, it was great, huh? That's fun.
It was really great.
It was so great.
Did it feel huge to you?
Yeah, it felt big. It's just, I think it just has to do with the time, with the perspective. Me and Liz Carmouche felt bigger to me.
This is a gigantic cultural moment. This is not just a moment for Ronda Rousey. This is a moment for women's sports, period. She's looking for it to get it. First round armbar finish for the champion, Ronda Rousey.
Even though it was years ago and not as many people watched, and it was in the Honda Center, which maybe holds 16 to 20,000, compared to WrestleMania, where it was in front of 80,000 people and millions of people watching. I just felt like me and Carmouche was the most pivotal moment, or that everything had to happen that way, or else women's MMA would have ended before it started,
That interview available tomorrow on UFC.com and YouTube. Rowdy Ronda Rousey sits down one-on-one with Megan O'Leary. You can hear the UFC Hall of Famer and women's MMA pioneer in a brand new in-depth conversation. That full-length interview tomorrow, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. All right, now look at what's coming up inside the Octagon. Next Saturday, we are wall-to-wall on ESPN Plus UFC Fight Night from Rochester, New York. Rafael Dos Anjos, Kevin Lee in the main event. Main card starts at 8 p.m. Eastern. June 1st, Stockholm, Sweden hosts a light heavyweight headliner between Alexander Gustafsson and Anthony Lionheart-Smith. Main card yours on ESPN Plus. The prelims are live on ESPN 2. June 8th, the aforementioned UFC 238 Cejudo versus Moraes card is live on pay-per-view. And then on June 22nd, we will hit the great state of South Carolina for the first time. Greenville has UFC Fight Night. Moicano versus the Korean Zombie. ESPN Plus for the main card prelims, a 4 p.m. Eastern start on ESPN 2.
Wow. I mean, these title fights are like nothing else in professional sports. Really, Dom, a tale of 2 fights tonight, all Rose Namajunas early. Huge win for Jessica Andrade.
I mean, it just shows the toughness of Andrade to be able to get through all those piercing blows. I mean, her eye was cut right in the beginning. It didn't even really affect her. I mean, she just walked right through it into the second round. But what was so cool about this matchup was how well she dealt with the adversity in this first. I mean, look at the way Rose is moving. Look at the way she throws her strikes right here. This first adjustment of Rose was very nice to go to the armbar, but when it broke down, Andrade was able to get the adjustment here on this next lift that she lands. But it was just all Rose in that first round, just making her miss, tagging her. But right here, she moves her head to the outside. And in a jiu-jitsu match, that lift is illegal, and this is why. Because when you slam somebody on their neck, you can break their neck. It's very, very, very fortunate that Rose Namajunas is okay. Thank God she didn't get physically hurt really badly. And Jessica Andrade went through with a beautiful adjustment to that Kimura trap.
Yeah, what a performance by the new champion, Jessica Andrade. But Rose Namajunas looked phenomenal early in the fight. But if you're some of these contenders, right? If you're Joanna Jędrzejczyk, you're excited. If you're Michelle Waterson, you're excited because you fought Rose Namajunas, you've lost to her. So the new champion excites you about the change and the idea that now all roads to that belt is open to you again.
So that is a current look at the top 5, not pictured. Of course, Michelle Waterson, who is here, came in at number 7 in the world. But we've got a huge title eliminator coming up here on our next pay-per-view.
That's the one.
Nina Ansaroff and Tatiana Suarez, DC. You know about the wrestling chops of Tatiana Suarez, and if she can get past Ansaroff, maybe she is next in line.
If Tatiana Suarez looks as she has so far, then it's going to be difficult for anyone to say they deserve a title shot because she dominated Carla Esparza and just really beat her up. But Nina Ansaroff has been on a tear herself. She's found her groove. For a long time, the people at American Top Team said Nina may just be the best 115-pounder in the world, and now she's showing that form. But Suarez has looked like an absolute killer on this run that since she's gotten into the UFC.
Well, tonight belongs to Jessica Andrade. Her future is certainly bright. The other side of this is Thug Rose Namajunas, right? 27 years old. You heard the comments. She seems liberated without the belt, DC. And, you know, I'm not in the business of retiring fighters. I know she's got a great career ahead of her, but there are parts of this game that are very hard for her mentally to overcome. And I just don't know how much, as much as she enjoys training, that she enjoys parts of her job.
You know what's so crazy about it is that she said it's a big weight off of her shoulders, but reality is, when it was over, I'm kind of thinking, why not them fight again? Because she fought so well early, right? Like, I'm like, but then that would put her right back in a position where she would have to deal with all that stress. But I mean, she's fought well. She beat the longest reigning champ of all time. And I mean, hell, Stipe Miocic is getting a rematch. He hadn't fought for a year. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why wouldn't she? She's done so well.
Certainly
but
deserved it.
It would put her right back in a position where she seems to not truly enjoy.
DC, how about this? You don't necessarily understand how she could feel so free from this. However, with that being said, being as much excess of just seasoning you have in this sport, in all these sports, what's some coaching you could give in that situation to get through that for anybody who's new to these pressure sports?
I felt, look, I don't know it all. I don't want to pretend I do. We all deal with things in different ways. But for Rose Namajunas, she seemed to be dealing well within this spotlight. And honestly, I don't want to spend too much time on this comment because it's unfair to Jessica Andrade. But it's like, understand that you've worked a hard, long time to get here. Try to just live in it. But if she's better today, good for her. I know Jessica Andrade at this moment is not saying, I look forward to the day that I don't have to deal with this anymore.
I'll tell you this, it's hard to have that belt. It's a lot of pressure to be the best. And I kind of understand.
Jessica will see this.
This is one of those things. You got to learn from it, and that's what's going to happen.
Well, and if you're Jessica Andrade, it has been an obsession for this belt. 9 fights outside of Brazil. She comes home tonight, and she comes up large. She is the new strawweight champion. What a night it was here in Rio de Janeiro. The executive producers of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, UFC President Dana White, Ari Emanuel, and Patrick Weitzel. Our executive VP of Operations and Production is Craig Borsari. Our coordinating producer is Zach Candido. Tonight's show has been produced by our senior producer, Michael LaPlante. And good to have Mike Ricci in the big chair tonight. Of course, our director, the one and only, the venerable Anthony Pasquale Giordano. As good a fight atmosphere as there is in the world. All eyes were on the King of Rio, José Aldo, coming in, but Alexander Volkanovski fought a near-perfect fight, and he will soon, in all likelihood, be the #1 UFC featherweight contender. That set the stage for the co-main event between Anderson Silva and Jared Cannonier. Cannonier expected a feeling-out process early, but he landed an inside leg kick to the right knee of Silva, and that was the end for the Spider and resulted in the biggest win of Jared Cannonier's career. And, of course, that set the stage for our main event for the UFC strawweight title. Rose Namajunas started strong, but then got dumped on her head by the new champion, Bate Estaca, Jessica Andrade. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. For Dominic Cruz, Daniel Cormier, and the rest of our crew, John Anik saying so long from Rio. We'll see you next month from Chicago for UFC 238. Good night.